has some nice things. And there's a guy, I don't recognize his name, but he really posted a beautiful piece. Oh, well, I'll get to it later. My link even left. So I did the newsletter this week, got it out, I think yesterday. It was the day to kind of lay back and clean up some computer stuff. Went to computer school on Monday at Apple, and a guy showed me things. I've been doing Macs for 20 plus years. That class, the guy, 2 lines in, he showed me something I never knew that the computer could do. And to put the newsletter together made it so much easier. And then a minute later, he showed me how to ID things like I didn't know how to do before. So that made it even easier. Someone was doing it by itself, but had an interesting day. So I stayed home yesterday and played with all that stuff. My wife and I both to take those classes, and we come back with 15 to 20 notes. And this morning she was sitting across the room from me on her notebook, and she says, "Oh, look, I can do this on the screen and do such and such." So where'd you get that at? And she says, "Well, I don't know. The guy told us in class, and I didn't write it down. I just figured I'd do it." She never could explain to me what she did. Just didn't work out.
Eddie, you're gonna have to share your notes with me.
I will. Boy, I tell you, the instructor we have over there is a guy named Greg at the Lakeside Shopping Center in Metairie. He's entertaining, not only thorough but very entertaining. He's got 10 people sitting there with us. He'll fine tune it to you. If there's something really special, I got to know we're going to talk later, and he will. I mean, and it's a lot of people. I hate to say that, my age and probably your age, and some of them were given a computer, got a computer from work. Kids gave them a computer so you could do FaceTime or Zoom or something like that. They had no idea what it did. They knew what an on button was. And one lady says, "I don't know where to turn it off at. I just close it till it dies and I plug it back in." So, and it's some of it's refreshing, but
well, I started back when they were a lot earlier. When they first came out with the AT chip, I bought a bare bones computer and a hard drive and had to program it and format it and everything else. And but fortunately, I had a guy that worked from Sperry that worked for me, and I got pretty good with DOS and a little bit of Unix and stuff. But you know, this touchy interface, I'm not familiar with.
I flipped over when I first got started. I was using a Mac, and it was in the firm I was working at, and nobody else liked it. It was that little bitty thing that sat on a counter, you know. But I liked the way it zipped along things, and everybody. That's when spam, and all that other crap was coming through. The attacks. But Max didn't get the DOS bases were getting them left and right. And I left there and I went and bought, when I went to Campo Electronics, they gave me a really nice Super Duty DOS base unit. Now, that one I could keep here at my house too. And after trying to produce drawings and documents and all this stuff on that unit, I went over to the art department and they were all Macs. The next day I had a Mac. And I don't regret it. I like it. And I love, we were coming back from clinic today and I had to stop, pick up drugs, and the wife left me in the car. I had my iPad. I was sitting there going through notes and talking to folks, and I got a message from Dane. He's going to be out taking care of his cat for a little bit this evening, but he'll be with us in a little while. Somebody else that we were talking about the stickers, getting the club stickers, and we're going to pull that trigger, right? I mean, probably tonight or tomorrow night. And that is, he's worked this. working a deal out where we're going to probably be able to obtain 2,000 right off the bat, but not a large increase in the original order, because you know the die setting and all that stuff. And we'll go with that because our math said that the 1,000 stickers might not last very long, and we're looking to reorder almost immediately. And the deal is you get 10 stickers for $5. Yeah, that's it. Now, if you want multiples, you can order multiples. We'll find out the best way to ship them, and it might be some savings. But we'll do everything we can to get them out there. We want to get this thing underway. Dane's going to handle everything. He's going to give me the number, and I'm going to get the check, and boom, we're down the road. Have somebody that says they'll loan us the money. They trust us. We'll pay them back when we collect it. So I think we can question that. And there's no favoritism with that. Okay. They don't actually get a sticker free. It's going to be that tight. We have an accounting system going on. Hey, Scott did a demonstration 2 weeks ago where he turned a pen blank, and with a large size pen blank like a Patriot or whatever, and he turned it between centers. And seen a lot on our website and on our Facebook page, and then I got a lot of private messages and notes about how you can hold why you're holding it between those centers. Then somebody responded that was in the thread that said Penn State Industries makes a mandrel just for that. It's a 2-piece setup. The dry block goes into your headstock. It's got the shaft. You slip the piece on the 7mm shaft with the bushing. You put your bushing in the other end of it, and you bring up the tailstock, which is another pin, and will stabilize it between the points. And it's all, I would almost say it's mandrel-less. Can you use that word? But you can put it in just like you want it, and then somebody added to one of my other pages that he does yo-yos using that mandrel. I know Ed Davidson does some awesome yo-yos. Some of his work is art, just awesome art. And I've done yo-yos. I think the key thing when you're doing yo-yos is you better have a gram scale, because both sides got to be that exact.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, when you use those, I've been looking at those bushings from Penn State. They're only good for 7mm pens. So if you turn, like I had the other night, I had Sierra kits. Those are say 3/8, I believe, 3/8 inch tube.
Yeah.
And they don't make a set of bushings for a 3/8 tube. They only make them for what they sell.
Okay. I'll have to find out where I have them, because I have them. I've got a lot of 3/8 tubes in there that I made pens out of.
Right. But I'm saying that the bushings that Penn State's selling to turn with no mandrel only come in 7mm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they do. However, you can use a standard bushing on those.
Right, but my 3/8 bushing won't fit on. It'll wobble on that 7mm bushing, on that little stem that sticks out that they're sticking in the tube, so you can do mandrel-less turning. It's just they're just turning a little stem that comes out and goes inside the 7mm tube. They don't make one for a bigger tube.
Correct. You still need the bushings for the Sierra pen. The bushings will go on that little pin.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they'd go on, slip over their little pin and go on the bushing.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where I was going with it. That's where somebody got back to me about that. As soon as the boss lets the purse open, I'm going to be one of those mandrels.
But that live center that I ordered, I just ordered one for a friend of mine because I showed him how to do it after our meeting, and that I got it off of Amazon for $8. that hardened 60-degree cone dead center. I mean,
Oh, wow.
that's pretty cheap. So then
That
you can
came
use,
off Amazon.
that came off of Amazon. Yep.
I tell you what, the whole world's going that way.
Well, I could have bought it locally for 25, but when I seen it for 8 on Amazon, I'm not paying 25. I want to keep my local retailer in business, but that's crazy.
I know the feeling. I really do. But yeah, the more you go, the more I go retail, the more I like the Amazon folks. Really do. You know, yeah, I've lost almost 50 pounds in the last year, and I really think I'm invisible because when you walk through a store, nobody sees you. They'll push a cart right into you. They'll not, bump into it. Nobody says anything. I'm that I've lost that weight. I'm thin. I'm invisible. So happy about it. I want to slap them upside the head and say, "Pay attention." At least that's what my daddy would do. Hit knock them back a step, see if they pay attention. I have to say this, and it's not a celebration, folks. It's an honor to say today's National Vietnam Veterans Day. I don't want to celebrate that day. I don't think I want to honor that date. I just want to respect it. There's a whole lot of us that didn't make that trip back. And there's a whole lot of us who did make that trip back that are still suffering from it. So for those veterans who served and gave up their best, thank you so much. To your families that, if you've gone and your families are still there, God bless them and God bless you. It's one of those moments in life where you say, why the hell did we do that? Because we had to do it. But no politics. It's just that day. 57,000 of us didn't come back. I got to check up my good friend Nick that passed on last week. He's in that number. He made it back, but he's in that number. All right, let's see what we got here. We talked about the pen mandrels. Don't forget AAW is coming up in June for their national symposium. It's in Louisville. Yeah, and boy, they last time they were there was a really great symposium. The hotel they picked, but the symposium was good. And SWAT is coming up the last weekend in August. Yeah, SWAT will be there. I'm working on, I typed it in the other day, my wife saw it, train ride from New Orleans to SWAT. And she peeked that 2 or 3 times. She said, what the hell are you talking about? I said, well, you don't like to go to SWAT because you're stuck with me for 4 or 5 days. And I want to go to SWAT. I don't care who I get stuck with. Figured, safe trip. I want to go on a train ride like that. Go to train. Then I got the time back. It's a 47-hour trip. I gotta get somebody back from Amtrak to explain that to me. I can drive there at 9.
Your bicycle.
Yeah, I'm thinking, the same way. If I could walk any faster than I do now, I'd just start out in June. But
Should go to Europe.
Say what?
You should go to Europe, Switzerland, Germany, France,
Fabulous.
like that.
Fabulous.
I went-
Yeah.
I went to Japan. I went to Japan in 1970. I couldn't believe the difference. When it said that train was leaving at 12:03, you better have your butt in the door because it was gone.
Yeah, if a train is more than 60 seconds late coming into the station, the engineer has to publicly apologize for it.
Isn't that something? And here they wanted to throw up their hands and say, "Oh, what the heck?" Not the case. But I am going to get the SWAT. I'm going to find a ride to SWAT. Otherwise, it's going to be real mad because we're going to buy another car.
Yeah, I've already made my reservations. I'm staying at an RV park up there, so
An RV park, all right.
yeah. My wife wants to travel in an RV. I told her we're traveling the SWAT.
You see, two birds, one rock. That was pretty good. It really was. I went with Dale Campo and Lori 3-4 years ago. We all drove up together, and they've moved. They took the high road. I think they went to Missouri for a place to live now. I hadn't heard from them in a while except on Facebook, but boy, it was a good trip. We spent all 4 days on the floor there, and it was really an adventure. Normally, when you go with the wife, she wants to duck out early on a Sunday morning, get away from that lunch and all that stuff. That, to me, that's one of the major social events of the year. I mean, you get to stand around and talk to people that you talk to here, and you get to face in lies. I mean, right there, they're on you. And I do understand that Billy Burt has had to leave the country for one reason or another, but he is going to come back for SWAT. He will be back for SWAT. But we'll miss Billy while he's gone. Wonder what he did and why he couldn't take me. I'm glad I'm not with Matt Harbor right now. Yeah, really I am. Because, I mean, if I was at Matt's house, he'd want to go barbecue. And there's freaking snow falling out of the sky, and he wants to barbecue.
Well, we could go in the shop too. It was 38 in there, Eddie.
Oh,
What do you got for outside, Matt?
Yeah, in shorts and t-shirts too. It's not 10 below.
Yeah,
No.
here in Minnesota, it was 32 above.
Wow, go Charlie.
I got 40, Matt.
Well, it's supposed to be 19 here tonight, so.
I got 40, and tomorrow's supposed to be thunderstorms in the morning and snow in the afternoon.
Well, I think I'm not sure what's happening later in the week here, but I think that I saw a forecast of 61 later in the week, which will be the warmest since like September. So, but I think you're sending it here. But it's
Oh,
good to know
lucky you.
there's
We're
snow
gonna
behind
get
it.
6 more inches of snow.
Yeah, they're saying 6 to 8 for us tomorrow night.
You guys, that's crazy, man. I hope I don't get that much, but I'll have to lock radar.
And I talk about we had a high next week in the 80s, upper 80s. Next week.
Tonight between 9 and midnight, we're supposed to have total whiteout, heavy extreme snow and 35-mile-an-hour winds.
I got a friend of
That's in New
mine
Hampshire.
who lives in
New
New
Hampshire.
Hampshire who's a skier. She'll be delighted with that.
Heather said a little bit ago that today they had sun, rain, and then a blizzard.
Sounds like what we're gonna have tonight, Brenda.
You guys can keep it.
Don't know
You
if
gotta love
anybody
it,
saw,
man.
don't know if anybody saw my note in chat. Today I did my one-way coring system for the first time ever on a piece of rock maple. And I would have done better if I drilled little tiny holes and put dynamite in there to get it to work. I was never so frustrated. It took me an hour to core out
Is
one
that
ball.
dry wood?
Really?
No, it's wet.
It's wet?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
it's wet. It's wet.
You sure your lathe wasn't running in reverse?
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And I had it on the lowest, the heaviest torque setting. And just ridiculous. Now I've got a 2014 Powermatic, so it's not overly powered with horsepower, but I'll tell you that rock maple, it was like cutting New Hampshire granite with it.
Sounds to me like the blank might have been frozen.
It had been frozen because it's been outside, but today we were in the 50s, so it wasn't frozen.
I had the McNaughton system. It took me 3 weeks to get that thing figured out. I didn't think I'd ever figure that out. I love it now, but boy, when you start, forget it.
Jim, if you figured it out in 3 weeks, you're a lot smarter than me. I got it figured out, but it took a while.
If it takes 3 weeks for you guys, I ain't got a chance.
First thing you do is take the instructions and throw them in the rubbish. Because these plain, I called a company, these plain aren't right. They're they're made for the original model and they just plain don't work. Lot to it, but the thing works fabulous. No, I wouldn't trade it for anything, but
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've got several friends in the area who are recently fresh to the coring. One guy has the one way and one guy has the McNaughton, and they'll do 3-4 sets of blanks a day. So, I don't know about hours.
yeah.
No way I could have done 3 or 4 sets today, Matt. I was lucky.
I
to
believe you.
get
I
the-
mean, you say
Yeah,
it,
I
you
know.
say it. I'm sure.
Would the carbide cutters work any better for me? What's everybody's thought on
If-
carbide versus this?
My
Steel.
first thought is that if the cutters you've got are sharp, they should be working unless they're either too high or too low. That's the only thing I can figure out is you're not on center, but
Yeah.
still it shouldn't make that much of a difference. You
Brand
can't,
new.
I wouldn't think you'd be that far off.
Brand new right out of the box, first use, Dean.
Is
So,
it centered? Is the cutter centered exactly on this?
Yes,
I mean,
I put a,
Imagine, Doug.
I put
on.
it like a live center and into the headstock. So, and then I lined the point of the cutter up with the point of the live center.
hang on, where
What
you're.
speed are you turning that?
Hmm.
What speed?
200 to 300 RPM. It's the best I could
Okay.
do.
Are you doing dry wood or green wood?
Greenwood.
You said green. I've been doing 500. I think is about what I've been running.
I was gonna say that's a
Yeah.
lot slower than what I
Yeah.
run, but I've got the McNaughton.
Well, this is a big piece of wood and I couldn't easily get it nice and round like I would like to have because it was damn heavy.
I cheat a little bit on that coring. I got my coring system. I had a one way. I bought it from a guy, no book, no instructions. I watched him for about 5 minutes before I bought it from him. And when I was leaving, he said, "Don't turn a bowl." And I said, "I bought a bowl coring rig." He says, "Don't turn a bowl. Check up something nice and flat, smooth across. Learn how it cuts." And I'll be dog. He was so right. I came in and I played with it. I adjusted a couple of times. I learned how to sweep, how to feed it, and the height and the feed and the positive and negative on how it might end up when it starts cutting. Saved me a ton of work. And I took that to almost all the tools that you do, coring and boring and interior trim and all that. Don't go inside to find out how it works. Go outside and find out how it works.
That's
It's-
great advice.
That scraper is going to cut the exact same way inside as it does outside, and you can see what's happening. So you got something like that didn't working right, slow it down. And I mean, slow it down. That 2 or 3 might be good. If you can get somebody to turn the wheel for you, turn it to headstock for you, and all you do is watch how that blade cuts. Watch what it does. See what's wrong. See what's moving, what's bouncing, what's not making contact. You're right there on it. And to think it's 3 inches back in a log and you can't figure out why it's boring wrong or holding wrong or whatever, don't guess at it. I'm dying to be able to do a demonstration for this club of going inside and boring something out with the carbide or steel tool. Doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to go in that piece and you're going to watch how the cutter works while I'm inside. Yeah, and aim from a camera on a stick. We're looking right down on it, you'll be able to see it. I saw a guy named John Berrios do it 10, 15 years ago or more, and it was an awesome display. And a couple of folks around me said, "But that doesn't make any sense to me." I said, "Hey, he can see the cutter. It's an experiment. It's a play. It's a toy. It's a vaudeville show, but it's, he can actually see what's happening. There's no guessing. There's no reaching inside. I don't know the trick. Don't make the hole big enough to where you can reach inside. I know that trick, but he made it work, and I've got everything I need for it. When I am now permitted to go back into the shop for some things. And in fact, the next day or two, I'm gonna fire up the laser again. And I got a smoke detector, so I'm gonna be okay.
Hey, Eddie, you want to do some gallery?
You got it, babe. What's up, babe? I'm sorry.
Let's go to Dave Edwards.
Talk to us, Dave.
What you got?
You're quiet, Dave. You're real quiet.
I see you, but I can't hear you.
Unmute myself. Am I talking now?
Yes, sir, you
Yes.
are.
Okay. I have made the first segmented bowl that I ever made, and I would like to show it.
Sweet.
I'm okay with that. Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Looks good, David.
I like the contrast
awesome.
bands, Dave. That's nice.
Nice.
This is aluminite in here with some dye in there to get a different color, but that's a green color. But I can't show right now, but you can see the light through.
Oh.
You know, the light will show through. But this is the first one I ever made.
You
My
did
wife-
good.
My wife took it and she says, now I got to make 7 more.
That's what happens.
Way
And
to go, Dave.
I'd like to ask a question. I made this bowl. I haven't got the slightest idea how much it costs. How much would you buy? How much would you sell this for?
Michigan. Anybody in Michigan?
Measure across the top, then multiply it by the depth. And I figure about and multiply it by $3.
Well, I've got across the top, I've got 7 inches. And I've got 3 inches high. And I got 2.5 inches deep.
According
form you heard.
to that calculation, it'd be $63.
Yeah.
And it depends, that's about what I'd start at.
It's made out of walnut.
Yeah.
It depends upon the area, and if you're in a low area, that's about the right price. Add another $20 to it if you're in a area that'll pay it.
Yeah.
All right. You want to throw
What's the nearest major city, Dave?
This base is made out of oak. Oak. I ran out of walnut. So I had
Well,
to
you're using,
improvise.
those are common woods, so like the woods don't get you a premium unless they're spalted or burled. What major city are you close to, David?
Well, I'm not too far from you. I live in Walls Lake.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're in the Detroit area. All right. Sorry, I didn't know that, David. I thought you were on the west side of the state for some reason. We should get together and turn, man. Yeah, depending on your venue, you could go as high as 85 or 90 bucks,
Okay.
depending on the venue.
I didn't know because it took me a long time to make it because I didn't know what I was doing, and I had to try to figure out different ways of how to get the layers in there, and then to be equally spaced out and everything else. So
If you're selling it online and you have a fairly eclectic or a wide range of people that you're reaching, then you can ask a higher dollar amount. If
Yeah.
you're selling it locally in a craft fair, then you're in the lower end of the dollar amount. So,
you're saying-
what's the inside like? What's your inside look like? All right, are there visible tool marks or flat spots
No,
anywhere?
no. You can see the shininess inside.
Yep. All right, so I think you don't have any
You could-
detractions
you
from
could- you could see
that.
the light. You could see the light coming through.
Yep. Well, so I don't, where do you sell your pieces? Where do you usually sell them? How do you usually sell them?
I don't know. I've never tried to sell anything,
Okay, all right.
but I've got these orders and I don't know how much to charge for them. That's what I'm asking.
Well, all right, here's the deal, okay? If you start at, say, $90 and the
Yeah.
person says, oh, I don't know, then you can always say, well, since I'm early at this, I could discount you 10% or something. You follow what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But if
Yeah.
you start low, you can never raise the price.
Right. Only on the second one, right?
Yeah, right. Or if it's a friend or family or something.
If it
Actually, I charge
sells
my family
quick-
more
If
because
it sells too quick, then you're too cheap, right?
yeah.
There you go.
It's okay to go by measurements and things and you're about right, but if you go by time, hours put in, it's about $2.68 an hour, okay?
You'll
Yeah.
never get your time back.
No, I know that.
Well, and there's an argument to be made that time is not a very good meter to use to justify price because, some of us can turn a bowl in 15 minutes and some of us will take 2 hours to turn a bowl. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's me.
So-
I take a long time doing it.
Me too.
Right. And that's fair. That's fine. But, it's not a good metric to measure how much the bowl is worth.
I'm
If
not-
you're talking
I'm not trying
like
to
a
make-
bull has a cap in the market because there's a lot of wood bowls out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So people will only pay so much. I mean, for segmented, you'll get more, of course, but
Not to mention, we're competing with sweatshops in Southeast Asia that crank out 30 bowls per person per day at cents per hour.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, go to
Well-
Walmart. and see the-
Yeah, what David has got showing you right there, he said he's got that poly in there for some accent and some sparkle and some, that is specialized work, folks. That's not, you're not going to get that from one of the third world nations. And you've got some personality in that piece. Now, if I was marketing that, and I am the son of one of the world's greatest marketers ever, I would make up a good story about the wood and the fill and the sparkle and things like that, and write it out early and put it on a 3x5 card right next to the piece when you're demonstrating it, so everybody knows the real story. And remember, it's your story. They can't question you. You're the author. So, but market it properly, and do that with anything you're selling. If you got the chance to use wood that came off of a tree that was knocked down by a storm that was caused by such and such, I mean, it's called spin, and it works in every business. I mean, do you ever see a dirty car in a car commercial? No. So,
Captain, let me add just one thing here, and I try not to get on my soapbox, but sometimes I have to when we start
on it.
talking about pricing and the Asian stuff. I was a photographer for 30 years. We charged over $100 for an 8x10. You could go down to Eckerd's or Walgreens at the time and pick up one for 58 cents. The reality is somebody that's going to go down and pick up one for 58 cents is not the customer that's going to pay $100+ for one. It's the same with what we do, guys. The people that are going to go down to Walmart and Target and buy the $5 wooden bowls out of Asia are never going to buy your bowls. Forget about that. Ignore that. Do not use that in your pricing because those are not your customers. If you price your 16-inch bowl at $50, they're still not going to buy it because they're not your customer. So price your products, price what you make for what it's worth. And when the customer comes along, that's the right customer for that product, they're going to buy it. At this last show, I had a pear bowl. I believe it was marked to $140. That particular bowl had been on the shelf of every craft show I've done in the last 4 years. A lady turned, she looked at my booth, she's walked straight over to it, picked it up, looked at it, never turned it upside down to see what the price was. She goes, "This is mine. It's going home with me." She set it down on the table by me, reached over, picked up a cross and said, "I want this too." Never asked how much either one of them was. I rang it up, told her, she swiped her credit card and left out of there just giddy as she could be.
Okay, can I get her last name again one more time?
Yeah. I've had those, but
Hey, is there like a formula that you can start?
There's a
say-
lot of folks that use formulas on bowls, and it'll be the width times the height times whatever, 2, 3, 4. You know, a lot of
Root of
people do
3.
2.5. But really, the best thing to do is look at your market and see what your market will bear. Go to one of these shows, look at some of the turners, see what their stuff is selling for, and then look realistically at what they're selling and look realistically at what you're making. Is it as good? Is it better? Is it about the same? That would give you a rough starting place, not a final price. But pricing is probably one of the most difficult things to do when you're dealing with art type stuff. And I know not all of us consider ourselves artists, but it is something we create. So there is no magic formula that says, okay, this bowl, this by this by this is this price, because you may have a piece of wood that you picked up out of the ditch and you got another piece of wood, you just paid $85 for that piece of wood. Are those bowls worth the same amount? If you measure them like that, they are. But the reality is, you know, a red burl from Australia, if you're here in the States, is worth a whole lot more than an oak bowl that you cut off your tree in your front yard. I'll try to be quiet, Captain. Y'all go ahead.
No, Dean, you hit it right on the head. You really did. I've always had this thing. I have an internal value list with me, and mine sits right here, right on my heart, because I quit selling my items a long time ago. Only because it caused it didn't make me feel good. I didn't need the money for selling the pieces, but it made me feel better if I gave them away.
I've seen so many folks that make things, woodworkers especially, that say you can't get anything for your time. Folks, you stop and think about it. There is not a single solitary thing you own that you didn't pay for with time. Whether you spent time at the job to make the dollar to buy it, you still paid for it with time. And the reality is, we all just have a certain amount of it. So don't give away your time unless it makes you feel good to give it away.
Yeah.
And remember, when you see things in a gallery with $100 on them, the gallery's getting 50.
Yes.
Yep. One of the I sell most of my stuff online, okay, through Facebook or other means. And one of the best things I did to help me with prices was I would go on Etsy and I would do a search for similar pieces and see what people who had a lot of pieces on their Etsy were selling things for, and use that as sort of a benchmark and make exactly what Dean said. I would make an assessment based on similar sort of mechanisms. So, you look at, say, okay, exactly what Dean said, is my piece roughly the same size? Is it better or worse? And you got to try to be objective and give yourself a good analysis of what you're working on, how your piece measures up. And the more I look at your piece, David, and I've seen some of the green and some of the lighting, it's not all that easy. I would up my estimates. So
That's a beautiful
You know,
piece.
Yeah, if you go
Agree.
into a decent art fair or something where there's a lot of traffic, maybe you could get $125 for it. So, you could always come down in price. If it's not selling and you get towards the end of the day, and maybe knock $20 off of it or something. But
I think when you come up with a price for something, you've got to take into account lots of factors, including the time. Because if you're trying to approach this commercially, and you're working on the basis that if I was doing this for a living, I'd need to earn enough in my working week, pay the bills, etc. So if that bowl took me half of my working week, then I need half of the income I need for that week for that bowl. So to put it in sort of simple terms, so if a bowl takes you an hour, work out how many hours you're working a week, and it's an hour's worth at that rate to get to the point where you're getting the income you need. But as far as using formulas, I do on some bowls, but when you're working out the price of a bowl, I work on the assumption that the diameter of the bowl, basically it's an exponential relationship. You double the diameter of the bowl, you've got 4 times the area and 4 times the volume. So you've got 4 times as much wood rather than twice as much, just because you doubled the diameter. So you've got to bear that in mind. You buy wood by volume. So if you buy a bowl twice the width, it's 4 times as much wood. So bear that in mind as well. But it's easy to price things too cheaply as well. That can turn off a customer as easily as pricing it too high. What they call perceived value. You look at something, you in your head, you think that's worth $100 or whatever it is. If it's on sale for 50, you're sort of thinking, what's wrong with it? Why isn't it $100? Why is it only 50? So that can turn you off as a buyer, just as easily as if it was 150 when you think it should be 100. So it works both ways. So you've got to try and price things carefully, but factor in your time, definitely. You can't, I mean, if you're trying to do this realistically and make a serious income from it, then you have to work on all of those things, plus your overheads, plus selling costs like gallery commissions, etc. So there's a lot of things to take into account.
Okay. Thank you very much for the advice, and thank you for your time.
You're quite welcome. It'll look good looking work though. Very nice work. All right.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
I see on the chat that last week or so they had a nice little and I'm going to say after hours chat, or I pulled my plug at 9 o'clock at Central Time, and that's because I've been here until we talked until midnight. But the meeting continues on, and those extended chats will probably be in the meeting review that's on our internet, on our website. So if you want to look at it more and get more details, if you want to generate a panel that would like to do that, guess what? It's your club. We can do that. If you want to develop a chat over it. But if you'd like to do that, I personally would like to hear from the flip sides all the way through. You can't tell if something's good unless you know what's bad, and not everything's maybe. So, I mean, that if we want to get into that, I'd love it. It makes for a great discussion. We got into breathing apparatuses a couple of weeks ago, and Jim Duxbury jumped right in. He had a brand that he was making or selling, and he had a lot of knowledge that you and I would say the big pieces, the little pieces. He knew what we were talking about. So that's what we want to, if we get into a conversation like that, let's be able to look at the good and the bad. Paul, you got something else tonight?
No, not me.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying
Good
to find
seeing you.
Charlie Bundy.
Who are you trying to
I'm right
find?
here.
Charlie Bundy.
Yes,
There we go. What you got this week, Charlie?
I got you on my screen. There we go.
I got you on my screen.
There.
Cool.
for
Nice.
It's not a candlestick holder, although it could be used for it. But I
Yeah.
also made of all the boxes I make that won't come that there.
There you go.
I've made many of
Closer
the
together.
Easter eggs, but this one comes apart.
Yes, it does. Nice. Oh,
Good
okay.
lines.
There it is. Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice.
And I found a piece of wood on the floor that was broken half from something, so I made the bottom, I think, is box elder. The top is just fine.
A little higher. There you
Oh, yeah.
go. Cute. Nice shape.
And then candle holders.
Oh, nice. Nice. Kind of wood is that one?
That's apple. I love apple.
Ooh, nice. Need to
If
find
so-
some apple.
I didn't know apple trees got to be almost 2 feet around, 40 feet high. Any apple tree I had ever seen were just little 2-3 inches around. And that one's soft maple.
Pretty piece.
All of this stuff has tung oil on it.
What did you use? It looks like it's got a crack in it. Did you fill it
I love coffee grounds
coffee ground? Yeah.
because they look more like bark. Now back to the egg holder. Okay, you see that side? I know how well you can see it. That's bark.
Yeah.
Good job.
That's all coffee ground. I made it look like bark. You
Oh,
can shade and do all kinds of things with coffee ground. And it makes it
Wow.
look natural.
look at you.
I do have one more thing. My 7-cent pen.
Nice.
7 cents. You brought the price down, Charlie.
When you buy it by 200-300 of them at a time, yep.
Good
Hey,
job.
20 years,
Charlie.
20 years ago when I started that project, I was buying them for 12 cents. Hence I had the 12-cent pen video.
Yep.
And last year when I bought stocked out some, they were 9 cents. And man, you're knocking the bottom off the market, man.
We went into Walmart here last summer and they had a big box on sale. And I bought the box.
Hey, Charlie, we had a request a little bit ago from somebody to do a demo on that.
My shop is 200 feet away. It's made soundproof. It's got all kinds of metal and mesh in it. I can't shoot it, and I can't afford the wire to go out there.
Well, darn.
Excuses.
Charlie, talk me into it. I want to do a demo. I'm told
You do a
that
demo
time's
on the
coming.
pens.
I will, because I have a lot of fun with them. In fact, I told my counselor yesterday, day before, that's one of the that's a project I think I could get back into again.
That was one of the first videos of yours that I watched and learned the most, how to use
Oh, wow.
the tools.
Yeah. Because it's a
Nice.
fun project, and I make them out of 2x4. I don't go to high end material.
Hey,
Well,
Charlie,
that's almost high end material.
Yes, sir.
Charlie, I just bought 300 feet of cable to run from my house to my shop, and it was $43 on Amazon. And the ends were already on it.
Wow.
Wow. Look into that. Maybe
I'm
you,
gonna have to.
all
And
right.
that information may be in the chat in a little while, right?
Yep. I hope so.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
what we do.
All
Charlie?
right. Thanks.
Thank you,
Look up
Charlie. Good seeing
either-
you this evening.
Thank you.
Charlie,
Right.
look up either mesh networking or extended router.
Extended
didn't
router.
catch
That's what Charlie. That's what Jim over in Ocean Springs uses. He's got a router extender out in his shop because his shop metal building behind the house. And I was going to do that, but it was cheaper for me to go a 6-wire cable out to the shop, and I could power another server out there from the one I had, the uplink I had here. And I actually got better image than if I just moved my server out there. I don't know why, but it's something to play with. And folks, if you got ideas on that and gizmos or gadgets or whatever, recommendations, throw them in the chat. That's free. What I mean is free is we're not married to the chat. That's where we share information. I ask not go commercial, but it's there for us to share information. I saw a piece by this guy today. I saw something to do with.
Oh my.
Nice.
That's nice.
That's hard maple.
Like a big
The
cigar.
red striped Sharpubinga, and then that's East India redwood is the dark accent.
Yeah, but it came out crooked. Well, can you send me that? It came out crooked. I can straighten it out for you.
Yeah, it sure did. So there's a story behind this. This is number one of possibly up to 50. They'll all be numbered and signed. And the reason behind that is my mother recently bequeathed, well, she's still alive, but she's 75, and she said, I'm never going to use it anymore. So this is the Rolodex. This is 5 generations of family recipes. So we've always threatened that we were going to make a recipe book out of our family recipes, and Mom never got around to it. So I started thinking about the project, about doing that, about writing the book, making a cookbook. And I thought, well, how can I make it unique? Because there's 100,000 family cookbooks out there. There's millions of them. So how do I make mine stand out? So I came up with the Heartwood Project. So the name of my cookbook is going to be the Heartwood Cookbook, Family Recipes Turned Anew, and I will pair turned items with multiple recipes in the cookbook. And then I will sell, you can buy the cookbook or you can buy the item with the cookbook, one of the items, or possibly a full set of whatever, 10 or 12 or 15 or however many I come up with, different things that I turn to go with the cookbook. So I'm going to be doing this for a long time. It's going to take me at least a year and probably 18 months. But Mom's 75, and she asked if the cookbook was going to be done before she left this earth. And I said, I'll do my darndest. So that was 4 weeks ago. And so I've filmed the first recipe being cooked. I just finished filming the first of the rolling pins today. I'm consulting with a chef who's helping me with the cookbook part. And I had a phone call with Mark Soleil discussing how to get the ends concave on this this morning. And I'll probably be picking some of your brains as the project progresses. So that's number one.
Oh,
All right.
That's awesome, man.
yes.
Good job.
Beautiful work.
Project coming ahead. Hey guys, I'm gonna try something. On the next person coming up, I'm going to go ahead and highlight them when I feel like this person is about done. That way I'm gonna add them, you know what I'm saying?
So there'll be 2 spotlights. One will be the person up,
The
like
next
Doug.
person up, yeah. How about that?
And then in a little bit, the next guy is who's on deck.
Yeah,
There we go.
we'll try that.
Which is how I do it when I'm doing that.
Okay.
Well, very good. I was challenged during the NCAA tournament to, a Turner in Kansas and I challenged each other. The winner got to challenge the loser. And Kentucky lost to Kansas State. And so his challenge to me was to turn a bowl with turn something with Kansas State colors. He really wasn't a Kansas State fan, but because he lives in Kansas and neither one of us thought Kansas and Kentucky were ever going to play each other, which they didn't. So anyway, Kansas State. If I can get it so you can see the colors there. Yeah, purple, silver, gray, and the black.
I saw that today. That's one gorgeous
I
piece
did
of work.
too.
I saw that on
Gorgeous,
Facebook.
yes.
That's really pretty.
As
That's
you can
awesome.
see,
Love that.
that's Ronnie's 2x. This started out as a piece of 2x10, just a scrap off of a construction site. And you can see it all right there. The top this has got pre-catalyzed lacquer, about 7, 8, 9 coats on there. I lost count. I wasn't paying that close of attention. But it took 2 or 3 coats just to start looking decent. And then it finally started showing real nice. So I got a good shine and then buffed the lacquer out with my abrasive paste and wax. So got a good shine on it, and it came out real nice. The fella has already seen it and commented on it. Trying to get so you can see all the colors. It's kind of tough with that shine on there. Well, you
Love
just
the shine.
Great
but
job,
it
Doug.
came out real nice.
Great
Yes,
work.
Beautiful. Love it.
That's it for this week.
That's a real good video too for y'all to watch.
Yes, there is a video on YouTube if you want it.
It's good.
Thanks, Doug.
Click, click. I think it's Bob Grinstead's turn.
Hey guys, I forgot what the demo is, but you know, we watched. I can't remember his name now. He was doing Jim Duxbury jig, and anyway, it got me interested in it, and so I started turning these little pendant things, you know.
Oh my.
And anyway, they turned out pretty good. And you know, I'm like the other guy. You know, I show them to my wife, and now she wants 18. So it just grows.
I could have warned you about that.
Oh,
But
yes.
anyway, they turned out
Gorgeous.
pretty good. I enjoyed doing them. Here
Do
was
they have to
another one
match?
that I dyed. Let me see if I can turn a light on here. Maybe.
Do the 18 have to match?
No, thank goodness.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm glad they don't match, you know. But anyway, here's one of like Dane's deal. You know, I dyed that one, but anyway, they turned out kind of neat. I enjoyed doing them. They were fun to do. So, and then I have one more piece that I wanted to show y'all. This one here was a tournament I did.
Oh, I like that.
Oh my goodness.
It actually has a flame going around the finial. If I can get it up here where you can
Look
see
at
it.
that.
But you know, of course, it comes off.
Very
Oh
nice.
man.
That's beautiful.
But I had fun doing it. I wasn't sure about the colors at first. I thought I'd put too much paint on and they were all going to run together, but it still turned out all right. That was
I think it turned out great.
Yes.
Yeah, that was various texturing effects, and I'm not good at that either. But anyway, I tried different things, and it turned out fine. So
That
anyway.
is gorgeous.
Well, thanks.
Hey,
that
Bob?
was my deal. Yeah,
What kind of dye did you use on that?
I used that RIT dye, just like Dane did.
Okay.
Oh no, this is not dye. This is that Josana iridescent paint.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You paint it all black lacquer, and then you come back and put the other on here.
Well, if you don't mind, send it to me tomorrow. If you don't mind, I'll give you my address.
Yeah.
Nice. It don't look like you got any room on that wall over there anymore. So
Oh no, it's running out of space. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now.
just start passing them out to us.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Dave
Well-
Kingsley, you're on deck. You're on deck, sir.
Yes. I showed you this a few weeks ago and I decided it wasn't quite,
Bring it over towards you. No. Yeah, right there.
I decided it wasn't quite complete, so I made a walnut lid for it.
Oh, that's a nice addition.
Yeah.
Back to your right.
And it's deliberately loose because,
Because you like it that way.
well, if someone's got something in it, they won't want to have to pick the whole thing up and
Yeah, and then it comes apart and drops
Yeah.
everything.
a little on the inside.
Yeah, you don't want to make it too hard for that grandbaby to get into the candy.
Exactly.
There
And
you
then,
go.
this is another
That's
one I
nice
did.
too.
And It's saying
Dang.
maple on the bottom and walnut on the top.
Well, you stand there and I think you help you with.
No, if you want to.
Nice,
Okay,
nice.
audios.
And then I got a basically basic, you know, very
Still
simple.
pretty. Still pretty.
Yeah, I love the, and I'm very grateful that I got the show just in front of Jim Duxbury this week instead of just after.
You'll look good this week.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care.
Jim Duxbury in the bowl, in the box, Jim.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. I can see everybody but me. Oh, here I am. We were talking about making cookbooks or things for cooking. My wife got a pizzelli maker, and pizzelli is a little cookie. I don't know, it's about 5 inches in diameter. Looks like a real flat waffle or something. But anyway, you can also, when they're hot, you can roll them on something. So she needed a mandrel. And in the time it took them to make about 4 or 5 more flat ones, I made a couple mandrels. If you ever make them, the long skinny one is better. So this is better. But they work really good. But I'm starting to show it. I tell you, I ate about 150 of those darn things, I think. I finished another one of these. I've shown this before, but this is another, the napkin holder. You pull the napkins out like this.
Love those. You had another one you showed one time that had, it was a lady. The top of it was like a woman shape and the napkins were her apron.
Don't tell my wife that. No.
Loves that.
That wasn't
Yeah.
me. This is a different model. This is in Wood Turning magazine, Wood Turning magazine out of UK.
We have the direction, and we have directions on how to join, how to get that magazine. And this month's newsletter just came out. There's a little thing on the last page on how you go about doing that. Cost me $3.27 a month to see that magazine. It's always on my phone, always able to read it, and I'm never in trouble for getting a magazine at that price.
I'm in this last issue. I got stuff in a bunch of issues. This is
Oh,
a
I know.
Peppermill. Bunch of glued up stuff.
Gorgeous.
Very
pretty, Jim.
Another one out of I don't know, whatever, Purple Heart and walnut, cherry, maple. Maple down the center. And then I really messed up on this other one. This is, no, it's this one. I was doing some inlays and you can kind of see a black ring around here. That's a black veneer. And I have a gorgeous piece of red veneer. And I put it on the outside of this one, which is kind of stupid because when you turn it around, you lose the whole daggone thing. Okay. So the whole gorgeous piece of veneer went in the rubbish. And this is a Cadillac. Sometimes this stuff comes out. This is gorgeous wood. It's real heavy. Sometimes it comes out almost black. It's like ebony. And I think they do it, they cut it in India, I think, but they dip it in a black wax. So it's amazing. You can't tell it's not really black till you get home and cut the wax off it. A lot of guys have told me I'm a wood nut, so I made some wood nuts. That's a 3/4 10, and the other one's a 1 inch, 1 1/4 8.
Are they threaded?
Sure are.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
in fact, I use these on my headstock. There's a lot to a wood nut. The distance across the flats is twice the diameter of the bolt. So if there's the 1 inch bolt, it's 2 inches across here.
Oh my goodness.
But I got a really neat jig set up. Oh, maybe someday I'll try to show that, but it actually holds the tap while you thread it and run it in here. That's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Great seeing you.
Great.
Thought we had Terry. Terry was here a minute ago. Let's see anybody can find Terry. Oh, yeah, yeah. Talk to us, Terry.
Okay, I'm here. You there?
Yep.
See
Looks
ya.
like we're good. Well, I haven't been doing a lot because I've been doing a lot of green turning stuff that I'm gonna have to let set. But I got playing around and I just didn't want to be outdone by Jim when he started talking about being a nut. So I thought I'd grab this over there and show you, because he's always wanting to be ahead. It's actually a whole bolt. It's got washers, lock
Oh my
washers.
goodness.
It's also
All
a
right, I think-
box.
I love it. I love it. Nice,
Oh,
Terry.
wow.
I think the challenge is on. Come on, it's hardware day here.
I have some of them that I made 2 boxes. I cut them loose at the thread and made that go on too. But anyway, that wasn't what I had planned. I was gonna go all the way to the other end of the spectrum. When people talking about cell money, I get most of my rewards with smiles. And this weekend, I had the kids down. And I was looking to entertain them. And I remembered I had a couple wooden cars in there. Well, that was a bad idea because I had 3 kids and 2 cars. So give them the cars, and the oldest boy says, well, let's make another one. And I said, well, I got to entertain them somehow. So we went to the shop to make another one, which was good. And what I do is I make 2x4 cars. And after I did that, I wouldn't want to try to take them away from those kids because they did like them. One thing about them is you really don't need to get that fussy. They want to play with them. They don't care about a scratch or the finish. So anyway, they're regular basic 2x4 cars. And I started out with a block like this, with a line down the middle, and drilled the holes for the axles. And then I went to the other side and I put a piece of tape on it and draw a shape of whatever I want. You can use your imagination. You can make anything. I made these things out of trains and anything else. But anyway, then after you do that, you just turn it and you wind up with a piece like this. This is a car. It's going to look like that. And there's my white tape making this shape, and I just follow it around and follow it around. And then when you get to that point, you cut it in half. Just take it to the saw and cut it in half. And then you have 2 cars. And I'm using manufactured wheels that I picked up a long time ago, and I've used them a lot. Yeah, I looked online and I found them online for a set of 4 for 99 cents. So I don't bother to make them but I got a bunch anymore. But that's a finished product that I made some for the kids and come out like it, which they loved them. And then they got there and they said, well, are you going to paint them for us? And I thought about it and I said, no, I'm not going to paint them for you. I'm going to give you a big pan of magic markers.
There you go.
There you go.
They put them at the table for a while, but you can come up with any kind of configuration that you want. This is a truck, and it's just turned down. And this is the truck with the wheels. And like I say, I can make one of these, a pair of them in 10 minutes, 15 by the time I put the wheels on. And the wheels you can make your wheels, but for a quarter a piece. And I bought a couple of hundred of them at a garage sale one day, and I've been using them ever since. We made the mistake when I was at Memphis we had a show at a craft fair, and we set up like 3 lathes, and we were going to show different things making. I said, well, I'll make one of these. Well, by lunchtime, we had a line of kids, about 20 kids deep, and we were giving these things away as fast as 3 of us could make them. And we ran out about before lunch, I think, on the blanks and stuff. But it's just 2x4, and it's real quick, and the kids really love them.
Nice.
And like I say, I usually ain't making any money, and they're not going to sell for much. But on the other end, I have seen them with people that are a little crazier than me, like Jim, that have made these things out of exotic woods and with fancy trims. And I've even seen a train with different cars and a steam engine. All made out of it. So you can go anywhere you want to go with it, but it's kind of fun when you got kids to take care of. And,
Nice.
they love them, and like I say, you put them away. So, but that's pretty much all I got to show. The rest is all green stuff out in a big basket of shavings.
All right.
Thanks, Terry.
Okay.
Bill, you're on deck, sir.
Good evening, folks. I hope everyone's well tonight. I was playing in the shop earlier this week, and underneath the bench, there's a piece of white birch that I thought, gee, that might be spalted. So I mean, it's too bright here.
Oh, love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That bottom. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I love the spalting.
So, you know, this was a neighbor's white birch tree that came down a couple years ago. So in your pricing, this was free wood, but you can't put a price on spalting. So
right.
And then a couple weeks ago, Jim and his wife, I think it was, were showing some heart bowls that they made. I think they must have carved them, but I thought, I could do something like that. So this is
oh,
that's gorgeous.
yes.
so it's only a piece of cedar. So I'm thinking about
Back it up a little so we can see the bottom of it. Yes. Love the little tip.
and it's a red stain. Well, it's actually a raspberry stain on the inside.
Love it.
And wipe on poly. I think I'll try it over again with a piece of hardwood rather than the soft cedar, but it's not so bad.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
What's
it's
the
really
bottom
nice.
look like? Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been wanting to make one of them myself. That thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fun. And you know, there's a little bit of flopping around because you got a lot of extra wood that you're not touching.
Mhm.
Cut the bowl, but it's fun to do.
All righty. Hey, can we get a photograph of that put on our Facebook page?
I could do that for you.
If you would, that's where we share most of our work at now. And we also use it for the newsletter. That just gives folks an idea, like Brenda says she wants to make one. Brenda, I'm getting you a template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that tomorrow then. That's it.
Thanks,
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Who's uh-oh?
Uh-oh, birdhouse
Looks
wild
like
so.
Yeah,
How's
we're
everybody
not
doing
safe
tonight?
anymore.
I've
Hey,
been
Bob.
experimenting with some small bows and trying some different textures and different coloring patterns. And so I did this one.
Oh,
Trying to
Pretty.
do so it doesn't have a glare.
shine on that
And I
thing.
put a little raised ring on the back,
Mhm.
texture.
Nice, yeah.
And I did this one with a carving ball. And then
You
put
using
the
the blue?
Josanya paints on it. I really like those Josanya paints.
Yeah, I do too. What color did you use on that one?
That's blue and turquoise and violet.
Violet. Mhm.
And what I do is just, I paint them all on there, and then I take an air compressor and just blow them around
Yeah.
and sort of mix them up. And then I did this one, and I decided not to color it. And hadn't decided if I really like it or not. My wife said just try something different. So
But it looks.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
ever
but
do
good
that.
work, buddy.
Don't ever do that again, Bob, and send it to me so it's not out of your mind. So
I think I like the back better than I do the front.
Mhm. What'd you texture the front with? A ball?
I did that with let's see, I think a 1/4-inch carving ball.
Yeah. Pretty.
That
you.
is
But
gorgeous.
I think I like the colors too. So
I think I like the colors better, but
yeah.
you gotta try something different once in a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
thank you,
Thanks,
Bob.
Bob.
There he is. Dennis is on deck. Hey, Dennis. You're being
Can't hear
quiet,
you.
Dennis.
You're
Dennis, you're
muted,
being too
Dennis.
quiet.
Still muted,
Dennis.
How's that, better?
Yeah.
Okay. Made a couple bowls. This one is it's out of the center. because I had to make a yarn bowl for somebody and I had this, it was a little green. The pith is right there. I wanted to see how it was going to work. So I super glued the pith on both sides and it's held up pretty well. And it's got the wormholes in it. We go right through. So I'm learning. And then I turned my first crotch bowl.
I like that.
Goodness.
Pretty.
Very nice.
Are there 3 ghosts? Is that what that is?
That's maple.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a red maple. It was down in the swamp and I probably got about 10 more crotches. I split them in half, but I just haven't had a chance to turn them yet.
Looks
Pretty.
like the flight of the Phoenix.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is awesome.
I'm getting a little more creative, trying to learn all this stuff.
That was gonna be a high dollar bowl right there.
I hope so. But we had our symposium this weekend, 2-day symposium. It was pretty good. I learned a lot from a lot of people, so it was a lot of fun.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Good
Okay,
evening.
thank you.
Good seeing you tonight. And we're gonna
Yes.
pop on over to Trouble Walking. Here's Trouble Walking. Right, look, fix the hair, brush the beard a little bit. Come on. That's you. Yeah, all right. Now you're looking
Yeah.
good.
Now,
Oh,
show us
You talking
something
about
good.
me? You talking about me? My ears are burning. Are you talking about me?
No, sir. Wouldn't talk
Not
about you.
now, not now.
Okay. I got an elevated box with a fenial here.
Oh, no.
Oh, I like that.
The pestle is Purple Heart, and the natural edge piece here is White Oak Burl, and the lid and the fenial is Purple Heart. And so I don't know if you can tell much about it. or
Yeah,
not,
looks good.
Gorgeous.
Great.
but
Her part's giving off a nice color. It really does. It's
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah, I
man.
like Purple Heart, but bad thing about Purple Heart is it gets darker and darker and darker and darker as time goes by. There's the bottom.
Nice.
Put it in the sun, it'll go purple again. It will.
Really?
It will. Yeah,
Yes,
reacts to
The
UVs.
sunlight will make it
yeah,
turn purple.
that's right.
yes. It's UV reactive. It turns purple as the sun hits it.
I thought it was right opposite. Make it darker.
So did
Most
I.
woods it is, but not with Purple Heart.
Well, I'll try it for you. Send it to me and I'll put it in the sun and
Put it in the window, yeah.
Can
There
you
you go,
get-
Eddie. Take it.
Pretty.
Can you
Take
get
it. It's
it?
in my eyes, Eddie.
Get it? But anyway, that's
Nice
all
job,
I
Howard.
got.
That's nice.
That is
Hey, Howard.
Very
awesome.
nice.
oh wait, before you pop out, I put a lot of your art in our newsletter this month, and it was gorgeous work. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
Very nice.
Whew, my head.
There you go. Is that Rick?
Good evening, folks. It's been a
Hey,
while
Rick.
since I've been on, but I'm back in the shop a little bit. And I had to do a couple birdhouses here for my wife. That's a piece of cherry with a walnut top.
Mhm.
Another cherry with a walnut
Pull it back
top.
towards it. Pull you back towards it. So pull it towards your face so we can see.
There
There,
you
we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
I coated those
Nice.
with spar varnish because they'll be outside and that'll
Mhm.
hold it, protect the wood a little bit.
Yeah.
And then watch Doug Miller. And I had to make a
Careful.
ladder here. And I
Nice.
don't think I did too bad on that one, Doug. Thanks for the
It
help.
That is
did
awesome.
really
And then
well.
another little video I caught up on.
Yeah.
These were fun. That's a 2x8. I had a piece of 2x10, so I thought I'd try it too. It came out
There you
super.
go.
Yes.
But yeah, I made some wig stands for the hospital the last day I had the last radiation treatment. I took the last of my inventory, so they needed more. So that got me back in the shop, and I get back there for a couple hours a day, and then I'm shot. But I'm working on it to get back, trying to redo my tools to get used to them again. So thanks for you, all your tips, all your suggestions, and I really enjoy it. I'm just glad I didn't have to follow Jim. Thank you. Have a good evening, all.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Rick.
much, Rick.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Excellent work.
All right, who's up? That's Bob Clark.
Hello. Anyway, yeah, I saw a video, oh, I don't know, a couple weeks ago at the the online symposium, and a guy was doing texturing. And I had texturing tools that I'd never used, so I thought, well, maybe I should try to figure it out. So I kind of went wild with it. It kind of,
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's nice.
it's kind of a,
Did you go to the Bob Moffett School of Texturing? That's look good.
I'll tell you, it just makes my heart skip a beat.
really the first time I ever played with it. I've got the spiraling tool from, mine's Crown, but it's a lot like the Sorby tool. And then I used another tool here. So it got to be so much fun that I ended up buying another one. So,
Oh my goodness.
but
Raise it up.
yeah, it's either that or if I ever have a pet mouse or something and I need a funeral urn, I've got one.
But it's pretty.
That is gorgeous.
And then last week I showed this work in progress and I finished it. It was the
Oh yeah.
the bowl from the bay laurel tree, so, which is the same as myrtle wood, except if you're below the floor, the Oregon border, you're not supposed to call it myrtle wood. It's a bay laurel tree.
That is gorgeous. I love that shape.
Yeah, somebody was giving the wood away, and well, okay. Everybody else picked through all of it, and I found this one. So,
You get old.
that's all I got.
Thank you, Bob.
Best wood's always free wood, isn't it?
That's right. There's two kinds of wood: free wood and wood you have to pay for.
How true. How true. Brenda, a couple of quick notes before we go to some more gallery here. Stick around, folks. We have a lot coming up tonight. I thought we had a demonstration lined up, but Dane's out right now. He'll be back. And he didn't get back to me when I questioned about. But we're working on a couple of things. But one thing that came up this week with one of our members, one of our new members, he said, "Can my club join?" Yeah. I mean, we're very restricted. We really are. If you do wood turning, like wood turning, like to look at wood turning, want to talk about wood turning, want to hear wood turners lie, it's all right here and it's all free. But tell us what club you're with. Could you please go into our chat and say, "Hi, I'm Doug and I'm with Backwoods Wood Turners." I don't know if they let you in that club yet, Doug. But let us know what club you're with. We'd just like to know who our friends are that we're talking to out there every week. And everything we do here in our meeting is on our website. That includes sections of demonstrations that may be broken out. So you have to look at the whole 3-hour broadcast. You can pick out that demonstration. You watch the whole thing. You see the entire chat. It's been modified to take any names or phone numbers out that we don't wish to get out there. But it'll all be right there on our website. Probably the world's funnest wood turning website ever created. We have so much. I went to today because I got a blip from somebody who said, "What about these patterns that Jim Duxbury gave us?" And I went to the site and there it is, front page, click on it. And there you got those patterns that Jim sent in. And it's also got something done by Waukeene Vinson. And today I got an email from Waukeene says he's got more coming. So we design something, note something, whatever, share it with the rest of us. Come on, put it in. You send it to our newsletter. We will put it out there. You send it to our website. We'll put it out there, and everybody will have a chance at it. And you can share it with whoever you choose. No restrictions. No restrictions.
Eddie?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
I'm your demonstrator for tonight. If Dane didn't tell you.
Oh no, I didn't have that. So, all right. And one moment we'll get to you. Are you almost ready?
I'm set whenever you guys are.
All right, we'll go to you in just a moment. We don't have a membership roster. We say that each time, but if you'd like to get on our contact list, on a contact for the club, there's a little thing on the top of the block that says members list. Click that, fill it out exactly like it says. Unclick box is the name and all. Subject is CAPTAIN, capital C, APTAIN. Dave did that. And if you want a copy, you'll get one right away. And the deal is just follow the directions. It'll come out to you. And we are going to go ahead and purchase the stickers. We're going to acquire 2,000 stickers. We will purchase them probably tomorrow or very soon. We'll get them in about a week. And the deal is this. You can get 10 stickers for $5. $5 payment gets you 10 stickers. Not going to break them down any lower than that, and as many multiples as you wish. And we'll have enough to cover 200 members right off the bat, we believe. Okay. We're trying to work out, I think I have the financing worked out. We have a member that's going to front the bucks, and we'll pay him back exactly what he gives us. So we'll get those stickers. Now, if you're interested in the stickers, I hope that before tonight, I can put up a screen and tell you how we're going to go about getting them, or how you can go about getting them. But it's probably going to start off with, if you email me that you're interested, just don't lose your name. Email me at worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. That's worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Tell me you're interested, how many stickers you want, and then we'll work out some way to get it paid for. And you know, we're not in it for a buck. I got to say that over and over again. We're not in it for a buck. Sometimes a nickel can take a whole club down the hill. We don't have a nickel. We're not going down the hill. So, club name, stickers. I got a note here. I need money, but that wasn't your money. And it's National Vietnam Veterans Day. Thank a veteran for the way you live. All right, let's now go to Scott. If I can find my button here to get out of here. And Scott, talk to me, sir. We're gonna wait, Scott.
Are you ready?
Scott, hold on. One second, Scott. I'm going to mute the entire membership right now, and that is so that we don't get a lot of background sound, because some members don't realize they have the audio on when they're watching the Jeopardy show or Big Wheel or whatever it is called. So right now, if you unmute yourself, this is Scott. He's going to do a little demo, and look at that. That's cool.
So tonight we're going to make some jewelry. Here's some ideas that I have set up on another table so you can see what I got. This is some of the things I use for patterns. These are spinnerbait blades that you can buy at your local sporting goods store. So you can use those as a pattern to lay out patterns to make stuff like this. I'm going to slide these over so you can see them. The orange one was one of these blades. I used it as a pattern. Same with this green one. That was a blade. Then I turn them on the lathe and dome them, or cup the back if you want. It's a little tougher to cup the back to hold them, but there's ways to do it. Some other things you can do to make patterns. You can go to the, forgive me because I'm jumping around a little. You can go to the drafting sections of your store, your craft stores, and buy templates that come with oval patterns in them. So you can use it to trace on your wood to cut out your oval patterns. Now the oval patterns I cut out with either my bandsaw. You could use a jigsaw if you have a big enough board to hold on to, or you could use a scroll saw, whatever you happen to have in your shop. Or you can get crazy like I do with these, and you can draw them by hand and cut them out by hand. I sell a lot of these. I call them flying hearts because they always have a little swoosh to them. If you can get that in the camera where you can see it.
Where's your little bit? There you go.
So there's a little swoosh to it. I try to find wood that has two different colors for my hearts. It just adds to the look. And this you can turn on the lathe as well if you want to dome it, or you can sand it on the lathe on a sanding disc, and that's usually what I do. So for practicing for the demo this week, I made this one. I can get it centered. Get these other ones out of the way. Brenda, what do you see in that? Right here is a spider. looks like a spider crawling out over the top of that knot.
Looks like a clam shell.
My wife's seen that, and now it's hers. It was going to go up in the sale bin, but now it's hers.
Pull it back towards you just a little bit, please, sir.
How's that?
That's much better.
Okay. So that was turned on Mr. Duxbury's jig. I used his jig to do that. So then I had to try what Matt was showing last week, and I did one with an offset hole. And it has grooves in it, which you really can't see in the camera. There's two.
Oh, we
can
see him.
Very cool, Scott.
So it works. The other thing that I like to do, this piece here, I'm looking at a TV screen and doing it on the camera. So this piece here is out of the same wood, so it'll have a matching earring. And that's what I'm going to start off showing you how to make first, and then I'll get into making some pendants.
Oh.
So that's pretty hard to hold. So what I do is I start out, I'm going to move you now for a second. So hold on to your eyes. I'm going to move you around the shop because I only have one camera.
If you turn that on my jig, I'm going to quit.
That I did not turn on your jig, believe it or not, but I'm going to figure out how to do it. Just give me a chance. Okay. Get the camera where you can see what I'm doing. So right there in my drill press, here's the piece of wood that I just showed you that I cut the medallion out of. It's right here. This is a plug cutter that people use for cutting plugs for their wood projects to cover screws. They also work really good for making earrings. So we're going to do that quick for you. Grab me a pair of safety glasses. So I just get this around. Hopefully my arms aren't in the way. I'm going to get this on a piece of this wood where I can see it. I got to turn the fan on because this stuff really stinks and it burns.
Do those plug cutters come in different sizes?
Yep, I'll show those in a minute. I have a box of them. So, and they come in different styles. Some work better than others. This particular one I don't care for a whole lot, but here we go. And you'll see why I don't like it. Well, where did my plug go? Usually stays in the machine. There it is. So there's your plug.
Back up.
There we go. There's your plug. This style of plug cutter is just like a sharpened, I don't know what you want to call it. I'll take it out of here and try to show it to you. It's not a very good thing. There's better ones on the market. These are the ones I started with. So it's got an end. It's just a tapered shank with a slot cut in it that cuts the cutters. I don't know how well you can see that. I can't see it very well, but.
Yeah, I see it good.
Okay. That's one type. And this is the other type. This one has like sharpened teeth on it, kind of like a skew or a scraper maybe, and it cuts a lot better.
And that's called the same thing?
And yep, it's just a different style of plug cutter.
Okay.
So this one, the first one I used cuts a 1/2 inch plug. This one cuts a 3/8 plug, which is probably about as small an earring as you want to try to make. The way I make them. When I get Mr. Duxbury's jig figured out, I am going to make them on there because I want to be able to I want to put grooves in them and not have to carve them by hand. And they come even smaller than that. This one here is an 1/8 inch plug cutter.
Oh my.
So you can get them pretty small. And then they go all the way up to.
Back up.
There we go.
Not too far. There you
Okay,
go.
that one's I believe that's 5/8 or 3/4. I'm not sure. I'd have to measure it. But that's the style that I just cut with. And they don't cut as nice as the other ones. They tend to burn. If you're using cherry or maple, they're gonna burn, and you gotta work a little bit better to get the edges when you go to make them into earrings.
How thick is that board you just cut?
So all my jewelry stock starts out at around 3/8 of an inch approximately. And sometimes I buy boards straight from Woodcraft. Sometimes I make my own on my own bandsaw. Whatever you want to do. Okay. So that's how I start my earrings. Don't holler at me because I left the truck key in there. So now I'm going to move you over and put you by the lathe. Can you see that pretty well? How about maybe this angle would be better? Move this light out of my way.
A little higher.
There we go. So now I have that truck in my pin jaws. And I'm not brave enough to turn that with a tool. Because I want 2 earrings out of this. I'm going to split this in half and I'm going to get 2 earrings out of one piece. That's why I make them 3/8 of an inch thick. Because you can split it in half, and that's just about the right thickness for an earring to put on the pin back. So this is what I'm going to eventually mount it to. This is just a earring pin back that you can buy at any hobby store or jewelry store that sells jewelry making stuff. So now I'm going to take this. I'm running pretty fast. I'm going to start out with 100 grit sandpaper. I've made my own sanding stick. Well, this really isn't turning, I guess. It is on a lathe. So this is my sanding stick for shaping the earring. So I take a stick, put 100 on one side, 220 on the other, and then I make one with 400 and 320 on it. And don't do that. Now I'm going to put my safety glasses back on. You're just going to shape this. And I find the jewelry sells better when you have earrings that match. You don't have to get crazy with shaping this. You just want it to have a little bit of a dome to it. It doesn't have to be super domed.
Hey, Scott, is there any reason you didn't use the foam back pads to do that?
It doesn't stay on there. I can't get, when you got it sticking out 3/8 of an inch, it won't stay on there. Oh, you mean on the sandpaper? I just use spray adhesive. Then I want to get rid of it. I just peel it off and just put a new piece on my block. Yeah, you could use foam if you wanted to. This is just what I have around. And there you have it. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's pretty shiny already. So now I would just take this, I'm going to flip it over and I just do the other side, but I won't do that, but I'll show you how I cut this off. So now I take a saw that's got teeth on one side, set on one side. This one's made by Stanley. There's lots of them out there. I marked the side that doesn't have the set on it so you don't use it backwards and wreck it, because I'm going to use the face of my pin jaws now to cut this off. So now I'm just going to take this and set this on here. Don't do this after you've made all your pendants and you got a ton of sawdust laying around, because you will definitely end up losing 1/2. Just like that. Falls down in the lathe and then you got to figure out where it went.
Might be a good idea to put a board across your lathe bed.
Yep.
Napkin.
Something
towel.
soft that it wouldn't bounce. That piece I know is in there because it didn't fall all the way through.
One of the things that I have that I put on the lathe bed for this sort of thing is a big sort of rubber boot holder thing. You know, it'll hold 4 or 5 pairs of boots. It's got raised lips on it. That catches them really well.
Yeah, it does great. So now you have this piece that's stuck in the pin jaws, and you don't want to lose that one. So I'm just going to stick a dowel in the other end, and there it is. So if I had this end finished, already domed, now I'll take it over. I'm going to move you one more time. Sorry, I'm moving you around so much, but I'm trying to do it the way I do it.
Well, our sponsor Dramamine appreciates this.
Okay. So can you see this? Okay, there you go. So this is my sanding block. So I go to our local home improvement stores, and every now and then they change out their granite displays. So you can get a piece of granite like this. It's about 1.5 inches thick, and it's one side is shiny and smooth and flat, and the other side is not. So you can put it on your surface, and now you have a flat surface to sand these flat on the back. So I have 220, 320, 400. The sand is flat. I'm just going to push it up back and forth with the grain. A few strokes on each one of these. Now it's ready to glue on the pin back. And then I just take E6000 glue and glue it onto the pin back, which is flat. Any questions so far? Well, that's how I make the earrings to match the necklaces.
If you don't finish on the wood?
Yes, I after I sand it and before I glue it on the back, I'll take some DAF lacquer and I lacquer them. And because I got my wood stove running right now, I don't want to spray the lacquer in here. That might not be a good situation unless you want to hear a loud noise. But yeah, they do spray them with lacquer. I spray all my jewelry with lacquer except for the resin pieces I just polish. So that's got 2 or 3 coats of lacquer on it just to make it shiny. So now to make my pendants, I cheat a little bit because I like them to be kind of a specific size when I start. So I use hole saws. This is a 2-inch. This is 1 3/4 inches. And the one I'm going to do for you tonight is going to be 2 1/8. So you don't get a 2 1/8 blank out of that. And I do go up to a 2 1/2. Because it's cutting on the inside of the hole saw. So your hole saw is 2-inch on the outside diameter. You end up with about 1 7/8 to 1 3/4 inches, depending on how new your hole saw is for your actual diameter of your pendant. So I'm going to put a piece of this on here. Bring you back over here again. One more time of dizziness. You really got to invest in another camera. So when I'm picking out boards for pendants, I'm trying to find unusual spots in the board. I don't care about the waist because I'll use that for making the earrings. But I like these knots. I like to highlight these knots. So when I put my hole saw in, and by the way, I've taken the center drill out of the hole saw. You can, as long as you're running in a drill press, you can get away with not having the center in it. Don't do that with a regular drill. You got to do it in a drill press. So I want to take this and make this knot area in my pendant. So now I'm going to take and lift you guys up just a little so you can see. I'm going to take and, without the machine running, I'm going to run it down, and in this hole saw, it's got slots. And I can see in the hole saw so I can get it where I want it around that knot. I'll hold it down with the drill press till I get my clamp on my board. Because you can't hold these boards. As much as you try, you can't hold them. Now I'm going to turn my drill press on. Simple as that. And I'm going to take a screwdriver and just pop this out of here like that. Now you can see I got that. Tilt this back down. Get that in the focus. Now you can see I have that knot somewhere in the pendant. You can put it in the center, you can offset it, whatever you want to do. So now I'll take that piece and we're going to change out the pin jaws on my lathe quick. And put in Mr. Duxbury's jig.
I have to go now.
It works. It was a little learning curve for me, Jim, but I got it to work. So now I have it in there. I have it indexed to 0. I take double stick tape and stick it to a mandrel. I have the mandrel indexed so that if I want to turn it, I can turn it. Or if I want to take it off, I can take it off and get it back in the same position. I think Jim did that with his too, I believe.
Yeah.
So then you just get this in here really tight because these do like to come out of here. I learned that. Any questions so far? So I've used double stick tape to stick that on there. I'll run my tailstock up, push on this for a few minutes with a lot of pressure just to make sure that it's stuck good. I'm going to take a square carbide cutter, negative rake, and I'm just going to make it round. So I've made it roughly round. The back edge doesn't have any tear out. I don't care about the front because I'm going to round that over anyways. I'm going to slide my tool rest in here. This is the tricky part. As you can see, I took Mr. Duxbury's jigs and knocked the corners off to give me a little clearance for turning these, or it makes me feel a little safer anyways. Gotta adjust my tool rest a little. Let's just quit spinning.
Scott is showing us technique for doing these pendants. Right now, if your brain is saying, can I this, can I that? What if I wire burn? What if I do this? What if I do that? It's in the rules. You can do anything you want. Think about it all the way through.
So when I round these over, I like to get these so that there's like a 16th or less of this edge here showing. It makes the pendant, even though it's 3/8 of an inch thick, it makes the pendant appear thinner than what it really is. So that's about as far as I'm going to take it like that, because I'm going to try to use Mr. Duxbury's jig and do an offset hole in here. Hopefully it doesn't fly off. So when I get it to this point, it's pretty smooth. I'm probably going to start sanding at 320 and only do up to 400. So I'm just going to touch this real quick. Got to remember that thing's spinning over here, so keep your fingers out of the way. That's why I built a mandrel, a long mandrel, to keep my fingers away from that fancy chuck. And no, I haven't hit my fingers yet, and I don't want to either.
When you do
We
it
got
the
plenty.
second,
We got plenty of time. We'll wait for you.
yeah, it's when you do it the second time that it hurts.
Is that what it is? So you can see there, it's got a pretty good shine on it. Can't really get my camera around to the face of it. The light's washing it out. So now I'm going to offset it and drill a hole in it like Matt did last week. I mean, some of this is going to be a little repetitive. Matt kind of helped me figure out how I'm going to do this. Thanks,
Cool.
Matt.
Hey, it's all positive reinforcement, Scott. Good
Thanks,
to see
Matt.
people using what I demonstrated.
So I'm going to slide this over. I'll spin it around after I get this tightened up. As you can see on my
No, we
chuck,
can't see that. It's off camera.
there we
There
go.
you go.
I have my increment set at 1/4 inch out to 1 1/4 inches. I don't know if I'd ever spin this at 1 1/4 inches, but there may be someday I'm going to try it. on a bigger pendant. So I got that set there. Put my tailstock back on. And I'm gonna find my stuff that I laid out ahead of time. Oops, that ain't gonna work.
We lost your camera.
Uh-oh. There we go.
We found it again.
All I'm doing now, I'll show you, is I'm just putting in a drill chuck. And this is 7/16 drill bit. Just gonna put this in here. Make sure it's good and tight.
The 2-inch hole cutter, right?
This one is 2 1/8. Started out as a 2 1/8.
Okay.
But you can do 1 3/4, looks pretty good. 2-inch looks pretty good. 2 1/2 is a personal preference. I don't like how big they are. They do sell ones that are made out of 2 1/2, but I just don't like the way they look. Better with the light or without. Get this in here without hitting the camera.
Can you get it to focus?
It's on
Without the
auto
light.
focus.
Without light.
There we go. How's that?
Without the light washes it out.
All right. So now I'm going to do just exactly what Matt did. Is drill a hole in this. I'm going to make sure this is extra tight because I had one of these fly out of here the other day. Wasn't cool.
Yeah, I like the smaller initial holes. I mean, it all depends on what kind of cord you're using, but the smaller initial holes seem neater to me, but you can widen them if they're small, you know.
Yep.
I usually go with a 1/4 inch, but you can make them wider if you want them to be
Yep.
wider.
So I am going to smooth this hole out when I'm done. So I'll show you that.
Yep, I was seeing that on your other ones.
So I'm going to just drill this in.
Whoa, Dramamine, take effect, please.
Sorry.
I think I'm back in the 60s again.
Here, hang on. I
Don't
can
tell on
fix that
yourself.
problem.
You don't have enough hair.
You might be giving us too much information there.
Is that better, Eddie?
Yeah. Hey, bro, it works for me, man.
Eddie, if you can remember the 60s, you weren't there.
Like crazy.
I was a member of Uncle Sam's Flying Circus in the 60s. So I remember all that stuff.
Gonna go just a hair farther. So I try to use a contrasting mandrel color than the wood that I'm using. And I know when I'm drilled all the way through it. Like that. Get rid of this because we don't need it anymore.
Can we see what it looks like right now, Scott?
Sure. Just let me get this tailstock out of the way.
Yeah, no pressure, dude.
I'll swing you around and show you the hole.
Forstner bit versus a twist drill bit.
I haven't tried a Forstner bit. I don't have any that go that small. The smallest one I have is 1 inch.
I don't usually worry about the Forstner bit. I mean, I use one on the drill press if I'm gonna, clean up the hole a bit. But I know that I'm gonna be in there with a tool to clean it up anyway. So I don't really worry about whether or not the hole's rough from a drill bit.
Okay.
But you could certainly use a Forstner bit. I have used Forstner bits on these.
I was just thinking it gives you a cleaner hole.
Yep, it
That
does.
hole,
Yeah.
that hole's pretty smooth inside.
Yeah, but I'll look at the brisance over the twist drill bit compared to a Forstner bit. Is that twist bit is cutting with one edge of one blade, and all the forces of that cutting is going to that point versus a Forstner bit, which same thing cuts at one edge, but it's more stabilized. I'd worry about the movement, especially if you're using a piece of wood that's slightly punky. The Forstner probably do less damage. But we all agree if we start small, you can always go with a fine trimming tool and shape it up to whatever you want.
That's right. So you can see that hole is pretty smooth inside. It's as smooth as you'd get with a Forstner bit. You know, it isn't rough inside. So now I'm going to shape that hole a little bit. And I got to move you guys around a little again, because I got to take my tailstock off.
Tell you the truth, I've never drilled one. I always just turn it out.
When I make these, I want to do them fast. That's the only reason I'm drilling them.
You got me there. I don't do anything fast.
Well, I'm making these for production is to sell. So I want them to be quick and easy. This block I made just doesn't working for me today. There we go. So there's the hole. You can see it's pretty shiny, smooth inside.
No, we're not seeing it, Scott.
Can't see the,
There you go.
there's the hole. Now I gotta find my tool in my drawer full of goodies. They don't use this one that often. So I'm gonna use a carbide bowl hollower by Easy Wood, and that's what I'm gonna use to round that hole out. Which I got too low. I don't know if you guys can see that well.
Looks like a donut.
Yep. So it's hollowed out here, which you can't see on I can't see on my camera, but maybe it shows up better to you guys. So I've hollowed that out about half the thickness. I'll probably go just a little bit more. Kind of like the way it is right now. Now we'll see if I can put some grooves in it. So I'm going to do like Matt did. I'm going to draw my grooves, just so I can kind of see where they're going to be. And I'm not measuring them. I'm just doing them by eye. And then I'm going to use, not that one, this one. I'm not sure what this tool's called, but that's what I'm going to use to make my grooves.
Spear point.
Point tool or diamond tool.
Yep.
That's one of the free ones you get from Harbor Freight. Yes.
This one's really old. It's an old Craftsman, but it's got pretty good steel in it. I'm going to come in at a slight angle. Try to do the same angle again.
Brenda, I can almost hear Clearwater Creek Revival playing in the background.
So there's my grooves. I can get turn the light off. Maybe there's my grooves. So that would be a done pendant for me now. I wouldn't do anything. If you wanted to color the grooves, you could color the grooves if you wanted to. The only thing I found with this point tool is that you can't go back and make them deeper. So you got to kind of, hopefully you get it where you want it the first time. Because trying to go back and hit that same angle again doesn't work. Or I haven't figured out how to make it work. I'm sure there's a way I could make a jig to put on my tool rest or draw a line on here so that I knew where I had the tool and what angle I had it at. I'm sure you could do that if you wanted to. I just try to, they are what they are. And I keep this tool razor sharp so that there's very little sanding in there unless you're using something pretty soft. This cherry cuts really nice.
What do you do to the back of it?
I don't do anything to the back, Trace. I just sand it flat. So now when I'm done with this, if this was done, I'll bring this over here so Eddie doesn't get any more dizzy.
Hey man, I'm enjoying it, man.
So then I just bring it back to the sanding block again. And I'll just grab one that I haven't done yet. And I'll just sand them through each grit. Just like that. Just so there's
the way people wear them, they wear them with the grooves out, so the back is against their skin or against a shirt or something. It works best if those corners are rounded.
Well, my corners are rounded already.
Okay.
When I sanded this the first time, this mandrel is a little smaller than my pendant. If you can see that, that's a pretty good picture of it. I rounded them over. I rounded them over with the sandpaper.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what I do, Matt, is I pre-sand these. So like these, I cut on the bandsaw.
Right.
You can see this one's got some saw marks in it. I try to get those out before I stick it on the mandrel, so I have less sanding to do at the end.
Yeah, it holds on the tape better if that's good and sanded smooth too.
Right. Yep. So I sand them to 400 before I stick them on here.
Okay, and you get the edges at that point.
And I get the edges at that point, and being proud of my mandrel here, I can round these over just slightly as I sand it, power sand it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
I sand and finish the back of it before I stick it on there. It helps it to hold better.
You can do that too. I just, because of the way I finish, I have to clean my shop and I finish everything first. I guess I could finish them all before I put them on.
I don't clean my shop for anything.
Good move, Jim. Good move.
I don't. I just.
So the way that Jim's jig works here, because I put this fancy stop on that he showed us a couple weeks after he showed us the first time.
That's how you sell the second model.
That's right.
The new improved version.
So now, because I have witness marks in a few key places, one on that side, I know that that's right back in the center. If I want to come back and sand this now, I can come back and lightly sand this and knock off any fuzz, or as Matt was saying, round these back edges off if I forgot to do that the first time. So then it's like that. So let's see, where can I go from there? I guess I'll show you how.
Folks, if you're trying, members, if you're trying to do this, remember when he goes back to round that corner, that little bitty piece of double stick tape sticking out. If you have too much double stick tape, double stick sticking out, you'll be pulling it off the mandrel. The whole thing will come with you. It doesn't matter what it sticks to, it sticks.
This carpet tape I use is horrible, by the way. I'm going to try to peel this off for you guys just so you can see how hard it peels. But you can see this stringiness that it peels off. I pushed it back flat.
That's because it got hot.
That's because it got hot. But one of the good things about this cheap Ace brand carpet tape is
You can use it again.
you can use it. I found that I can use it up to about 8 times before it releases, where it won't work at all anymore.
Yeah, it really helps to put this tailstock pressure on it to hold it too. That works well.
Yep. So I'm just going to show you that quick.
No, one thing you can do if you're getting sticky stuff on your pieces, you can put blue painter's tape on your piece and then stick the blue painter's tape to the double-sided tape.
Yep.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
And you get, and it's a cleaner surface, and it will come off if you can't get the other tape off.
Yep. So then I just,
and if you pre-finish them like Jim Duxbury said, the blue tape will stick even better and come off even cleaner.
That's correct.
So that's how I press them on. And I just, I got a lot of pressure on there. There's a lot of pressure up against that, and it's stuck. This one I just took off. It doesn't have a lot of residue on it. It's pretty good. And I'm going to lightly sand it again anyways, so it won't have any stickiness to it, but it really's got a nice pattern to it. There you can see the pattern well.
Yes.
So one more thing I'm going to show you, and then that's pretty much it, except for if you want to see me make the necklace part of it. And I guess I'll show you one more thing after that. I'm going to move you over here. To this view, and get this to sit here. So you don't have to have thin pieces to start with. I took a hole saw, drilled into this block, but I didn't drill all the way through it. So now if you want to get some circles out of that, you just turn your bandsaw on. Get a push stick, keep your fingers out of the way. And I got this set so it'll cut a 3/8 or a little larger circle.
It's a good idea. Then you don't have to try to dig it out of your hole saw.
Exactly. The other thing that it does, it leaves a lot cleaner edges.
Sure.
And then you can make them whatever thickness you want too. If you wanted them thicker or thinner, whatever. This piece of wood had some really pretty figure in it by this knot. The rest of it's not good enough to turn, so it got used for pendants.
Great idea.
So it's a good way to use every week. Good way to use little cutoffs. And actually you can see I got another, if I get it to centered on the camera, I got another, there's at least one more in there, maybe two more before I gotta throw this piece in the burn pile.
Well, it would be a real good idea for the earrings.
Yep. And I can take smaller pieces here and make the earrings at them so it's got some figure in it to match. as well.
Wow.
You can use trans tint markers to highlight some of that grain if you want. This is a full set. They're a dye marker. They work just like dyes, like RIT dye or any other dye, except they're in a marker form. They're like a Sharpie, basically. So they have just a real hardened tip. I've used them with the lathe spinning to decorate stuff. They seem like they hold up pretty well. I've had these for 2 or 3 years. You just got to make sure you get the lids snapped on tight. So when I finish these, I typically finish. I'll move you back over here and sit down and show you some other stuff. Put the camera on that one. Get my chair back out of the way. So when I finish,
the rope, how are you tying the necklace to it?
That's what I'll show you next. So I normally finish this side on the lathe. I spray it on the lathe. And then to finish the backs, I found that real large pill bottles and that size work really well. It's just a way to hold it, and it also keeps the finish from going around the edge if you get too much on it. It sits in there real nice. Another use for old pill bottles. So now there's different ways that you can hold these, however you want to hold them. This one here has got a flat back on it. The cord just goes through it. And I have a little teeny rare earth magnet in it. And I sell these by the oodles, because now the ladies can take and change pendants whenever they want. And they just buy multiples of different colors or different wood patterns or whatever, and they can just pull it off and change it. It's fully magnetic. So that's one way of holding it on. The other way is to drill a little itty bitty hole in there, which I have a old fashioned twist drill that I drill the holes with by hand. And I just put a little hole in there. And then I don't know if you can see that split ring, but it's a split ring that you can buy at the jewelry making stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, all those places will have them. They come in a bunch of different colors.
That's beautiful. What's that wood?
That's not wood.
Oh.
That is, if I can get it in the camera, that is actually a piece of bottle stopper blank. It's acrylic. It makes beautiful jewelry, and it's a lot of times it becomes translucent, so the ladies like it because as you shine light on it, it makes it do different things. So you can see in here, I'll hold this up. These are called pinch bales. And they just spread apart, and you drill that same little hole that you would for the split ring. You pull it apart, and then you can pinch it through the holes. And these also come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, stainless steel, whatever. You think what I'm going to do for these ones with the hole in them? I just buy cord. This is just artificial leather cord. And the ones with the holes, I'm just going to tie them through like this. and attach them like so. And if you want to get really fancy, you can dress them up a little. And put a little tube bail on it, just a little hollow metal tube, just to dress it up. And that also keeps it from coming untied. Then the back for the clasp part, I would just use this. I just crimp that on the end of the.
We can't see it.
And I'm looking over my shoulder at the camera at the same time. So these are just crimped on the ends. They're just crimp. They call them crimps, cord crimps, or jewelry crimps, depending on where you buy them. And then they already have the hook on them and a little piece of chain to extend them. Most jewelry lengths are 18 to 22 inches for the length of your cord. And they're easy to make. There's nothing to make in one. I can show you real quick, maybe on this fat cord. I got some parts here. See if I can do this on camera. So this is your little crimp. Get it where you can see it. There's your little crimp that you're going to crimp on the end of the cord. They have special pliers that don't have any teeth on them. They're smooth. So now you can see I got that piece of cord in there, and you just pinch these over onto the cord like so. Turn it around. And there it's on the end of the cord. And then you just use a split ring to attach the portion of the clasp. Any questions? And you can buy your necklaces pre-made. My wife and I make jewelry, so we have all the components around to make whatever we want. Pinbacks also come different sizes. These are a little smaller diameter pinback for earrings, for the post style earrings. If you wanted to make dangling earrings, you can buy, they're called fish hook earrings. And you would drill a little hole in there and then use a split ring or a snap ring, which I can get one out of a box and kind of show you what they look like. I'll lay a shiny one on that piece of wood. Jewelry making can be like wood turning. You can end up with a lot of stuff. So this is just a split ring. It's just got a split in it. And you take a pair of pliers and you twist it back and forth, open the ring up, twist it back, and it'll line right back up and stay nice and round. That's basically it for the demo, unless there's some questions.
I got a question.
Sure.
The other shapes, you would do those, you would turn those the same way?
Sure. You want me to do one quick? I have one mounted up.
Sure. Yeah. Show us that.
Hold on, Eddie. Dramamine.
Close your eyes, Eddie.
Oh, wow. Man, I got to get my passport.
Back on the flight line.
Well,
Hey,
that's
Trey,
definitely going to make you go, Eddie.
Yeah. Hey, Trey, can you set me up for co-host?
So I'm gonna. So you don't have to use Mr. Duxbury's jig if you don't want to. You can use a chuck like this and just make your mandrel fit in this. Or you can use your pin jaws if you want to. The only advantage to his system is you can make it offset.
Right.
That's the advantage. That's what I like about it. I'm just going to loosen this up. Pop that out of there. This is the other thing that's nice about his system is you can have multiple ones set up and ready to go. And there's one's finishing up. You can switch and do another one if you wanted to finish them as you were going.
Or if you're like dyeing them and you want to give the dyes time to dry, or you turn the next one.
Yep, exactly. Try to slide you in a little closer. There we go. So this is just mounted on a round mandrel.
Is it an oval shape?
It's an oval shape that I've cut out by hand or cut out. See how well this works. See if I can knock the camera over. So now I got it mounted on there. I'm going to set this down a little lower. Find my square carbide cutter. I like to use a lot of carbide on the resins. You can use any kind of tool you want, I guess. I just use carbide because that's what I'm comfortable with. Now, obviously, you're not going to turn the outside edge now because you can't turn an oval on a round machine. So now I'm just going to round this off. Just going to detail it. Light cuts. Or this will come off and go flying just like that. Probably about time for a new piece of tape on there. Like I said, probably about time for a new piece of tape. But you can see that I'm getting it rounded over. It's actually leaving an oval pattern in the center. If you want to leave an oval pattern in the center. Let me see if I can get a new piece of tape on here. This stuff is terrible. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat.
Some of my most efficient actions in the shop are cheating.
So rather than do it on that little mandrel, one other way to tighten these up is if you don't want to use your tailstock, a bench vise will do the same thing. It'll add enough pressure to it to make it stick. I haven't done one on a big one like this for a while, so we'll see how this works. This might be an experiment for all of us. So basically all I did is switch mandrels, one with a little newer piece of tape. I've done quite a few on this little one. See how this works for us. Now, obviously I didn't get it in the same position, so it's going to come out a little different. And you can see that it's rounding it off. A little more on one edge. Let me slide the camera over a little so you can see that. It's a little thinner here and a little thicker there. And that's the nice part about somebody's jig is now if I want to change that profile and make it any shape I want. Now I got this indexed. I'm going to get a pencil. We'll call this number 1. Loosen this up just a little more. Can twist this a little bit. And I'll call this number 2. So what I'm doing is turn this way. So I have a straight 90 degrees here to this line as well, and to this line over here. And I just moved it approximately 1/4 of an inch, tightened it back up, and I just turned this. I didn't move this up here. I just turned the mandrel itself, and it should give us a little different pattern. Which it did. Now the sides are a little thinner, and this didn't change. So it's got a curve this way now. And since we're experimenting, if you guys want me to do a little more, let's try moving it on the other axis once. Just because I want to see what it does.
Also, if you polish that piece to a mirror, you almost have to do it on each center before you index it.
That is correct. Yep. You'd have to polish it as you go, because you'll never get it back to where it was. But I'll show you a neat little trick that I did before I started doing them on the lathe. After we get to see what this does. So I moved it over 1/4 of an inch this way on my indexer. Right there. I moved it to the next line. Let's see what kind of pattern that does. Now it's off, it's wobbling, so we'll see. Should be interesting if I can keep it on there. That's an interesting shape. Made one side thicker than the other. So this side is thin. This side is thick. So I mean, there's hundreds of things you could do.
So
Actually,
is this giving you, are there facets in this now too?
Yep, it just I was just gonna say, Matt, it just looks like it faceted it to me.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Thanks.
So if I slid it 1/4 of an inch the other way, I think this side would get thinner to match this side.
And you'd put another facet on it.
You'd put another facet on it. So
Now, all right, now let's say you wanted to facet it all the way around. Would you then rotate it and do the same offsets?
yes, I'm experimenting with this, just like you're talking, Matt. I've never done that. So I would assume that as long as you know how you rotated it, I mean, you're going to have a pad of paper. So if you want to duplicate them, you can duplicate them.
Yeah, keep records, man. I'm with you, brother.
You'd have to keep a record of what you did and how you did it to get your facets to come out.
Coming from the ornamental side, rotating is more precise than trying to do the offset, trying to offset it the other way.
Yep. I would agree with that.
You can rotate it 100, you rotate it 180 degrees and they'll come up really close and you won't be able, the facets will be the same shape.
Well, I can do that. I can rotate this.
Let's do one more iteration on this, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fascinated, so to speak.
Well, let me try rotating it 180 degrees because I have a mark that's 180 degrees from that one.
Do you do this, Jim, with yours? Have you faceted things with this?
No, I do one or two. I don't know whether it's accurate enough to do a facet. Well, Sorby makes a check for $550 that will do faceting. It's also about a 3-week project to learn a thing. It comes with 3 books of instruction and a DVD.
Well, I look at it like this. I'm not going to end up making 2 of them that are the same.
No, that's for sure. Lord help you if you have to, I tell you.
But I'm going to market them as a handmade, one of a kind. And we were talking earlier about how you price things. Well, I used to make custom furniture years ago, long before I started wood turning. And I always told my customers, I can't make what they make in the store for what they sell it for. But if you want a piece of furniture that looks like that piece of furniture and fits your space and willing to pay my price for a handmade custom furniture, table or whatever it was, that I sold more pieces that way than I ever did trying to sell pieces at a craft show. Because as soon as people found out that I could make it fit their room and make it look similar to what was in the store and in better quality than what you can buy in the store, I didn't have any problem selling stuff.
Yeah, and a wood of their choice, because
and a wood of their choice.
Yeah, people are using standard stock woods, and yeah.
And
if you're doing
then,
it like,
then if you take photographs of stuff where you highlight sections in the wood, like I picked those knot eyes out to highlight my pendants, those sell twice as fast as just a dyed one or a simple pendant, because it's unique. There's never going to be another one like that, because God didn't create another knot that looked exactly like that one.
There you go.
So you have to market yourself or market your product accordingly. And that's how I sell stuff. I sell in a touristy area. People from Chicago, Minneapolis, big cities come there to vacation. They pay big bucks for stuff. I bring that same product to my hometown and go to the local shows. I'm lucky if I get half of what I get for it in the touristy place. And I have more lookers here. Go ahead,
know your
Dave.
market.
Know your
You
market.
just got to know your market.
And know your shows. If it's a craft show that's judged, you got a better chance of getting higher prices, because the people expect higher prices at a judged craft show, where you have to send pictures of your product before they allow you in the show. I don't know how many of you guys have shows like that, but we have a lot of shows here in the northern part of Wisconsin that are judged, and you got to 6 months before the show, you got to send in pictures of your work or former work to even get considered to be in the show.
Right.
Yeah, they'll
and-
call them jury
like
to
that
art
for one
shows
I
or
go
something
to.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah, and
So-
you're right. The tourist areas, the tourist hotspots sell a lot better.
Yep. I do 1 or 2 shows a year, and I make enough at 1 or 2 shows a year to support my hobby. I'm not trying to make a living. I just want to be able to support my hobby. So I just turned this 180 degrees, so let's see what it does. I'm just curious. Hey, that's pretty cool. Not only did it create another facet, but it made it even on all the sides. From one side to the other on the oval. So this side here, now I don't think you can see it on camera, is exactly the same as this one over here. And I got a big facet here in the middle. And it's faceted all the way point to point, right down the middle.
There you go.
So, and there's a lot of facets, other facets in it. I mean, it's definitely like a stone, like a faceted stone. So
Great
Jim
job,
was,
Scott.
so Jim was saying that you got to polish these as you do them. That's not necessarily true. So when I first started making these oval ones, I polished them by hand with micro pads. So you can polish this with a micro pad. And I'm doing this without water, so it'd be better if I used a little water, which I have some here. Hang on a second.
Man, for a minute, I thought he was just going to spit on it.
I thought about it, Eddie. I did. I really did.
Oh, man. I know some little fat dago that used to do demonstrations online. He did that a couple of times and people really got upset.
Probably works better than water.
Well, it's instant. I mean, it was there.
We used to call it tongue oil.
Yeah, there you go. So if you polish this by hand with micro mesh and you use a good sharp carbide tool and good tool presentation, you can see how much that's shined up already. And that's just one grit. And I polished it by hand.
Now, if you polish and go through the primary grits by stage on the lathe, you can keep those facets better.
Yep, you could. Yep.
And it won't knock the corners off.
But I'm really
Remember,
not.
this was a learning process right here doing the facets. So
Yeah. But
just
actually,
we're all seeing it at the same time he's doing it for the first time.
so this pad is pretty spongy, and I'm not using a lot of pressure on this. So I'm really not knocking a lot of those facets off. All I'm doing is kind of making them they were a little sharp when I started.
You're smoothing them.
Yep, you're just kind of laying them over. I'm going to try one more thing just because I'm curious how it's going to work. So I'm going to go back to my car polish and just see what that does once. Because really that was pretty smooth from the tool itself. Try not to spill that because it makes a heck of a mess.
How would you know that?
Because I just did it this afternoon. I had to go in before the meeting and change my jeans because I had it on my jeans and it didn't look very nice on my jeans. Looked like something else, and we'll leave that to your imagination.
Was that a scrap piece of epoxy that you had, or what was it?
No, actually, it was a good piece.
Okay.
Look at the shine on that. That's just car polish.
Looks nice.
Ooh.
That's
like
just
that.
car polish. So that car polish didn't knock off any of the facets. See if I can really see the facets up close. Let's see if I can take this out of here. Can you see the facets in there?
Yeah.
It looks like a
There you go. Now you're getting in focus. Yeah.
looks like a faceted stone. I really like
Yeah,
that.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty
Great
cool.
job, Scott.
So there, we all learned something at the same time. And that's just polished with the car polished and the 1500 grit micro mesh pad by hand. And there's
you should take that and stick a brooch pin on the back of it. Now you got a brooch.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool.
So
outstanding demo, Scott.
So there, we all learned something together tonight. Thanks to Mr. Duxbury. One other thing I did too, when I made this mandrel, I made it a hair too small. One wrap of blue painter's tape is all it took to make it the right size.
Nice.
So
I have to tell you, it's a wonderful feeling to be able to have created something that creates this much interest. I really mean it. That's wood turning and sharing, and that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's a great jig, though, Jim. Great jig.
Well,
That's one of the things I've been impressed with all the wood turners I've come across, is they're also willing to help and share.
Very true.
Well, I
Not like
appreciate it.
fishermen.
Well, with this group it is.
Well, it depends on what fisherman you were with. Some of us share our secrets, some of us don't. But I really appreciate you guys giving me some suggestions. Because I had never thought about doing that like we just did it. That turned out pretty cool.
Great job, Scott.
Yes,
fantastic.
very nice, very nice.
I can take, man, I had one heck of a trip, man. This was really.
Look at him. He's still. Look at him. He's still tripping.
Captain.
So one other suggestion, if you can't get those nice pieces of granite from your local building supplies, the machine surface on your table saw works really good too for flattening stuff. Put your sandpaper on there. I wouldn't glue it down, but hold it down and use that as well.
Beautiful project. Really great.
What about Corian?
Corian works good too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can get the scraps Corian at I want to say Lowe's or Home Depot, but I'm not supposed to say that. And you get the little 2x2 scraps, and you can make some nice parts and pieces out of it. So don't tell them I sent you. Don't tell them I sent you. Okay.
So those pieces of granite I had, they were actually throwing those in the garbage can.
Oh, I know. I got a friend that works there, and he was, after he found out I did pens with Corian, he was a hog on it. He would collect all the 1/2-inch 3x3s he could, and he made pens like crazy. So, all right, thank you, Scott. Very good demo tonight. Let me mention that a lady friend of mine named Cindy Drozda had a birthday this week, and a lot of people send her nice wishes and all that. So what Cindy's giving us back, our birthday, is tomorrow there's a box demonstration on her channel, and it's not a pay-per-view. It's one of her Thursday events. So if you want it, you got a little time tomorrow afternoon, tune in to just check it out at Cindy Drozda, and I enjoy it every time. And Scott was doing that thing where he was detailing with that pointed tool. That's the tool that they sell with your Harbor Freight kit. Nobody knows what it does. Now you know. But Cindy's got some specialized gouges and cutters that would do that little detailing, and especially on the medallion pieces if you want to add some curly cues or whatever. Good ways to do art. The beauty of all this is you will learn how to use your tools better if you're going along with that. If you're doing this experimentation sort of. earlier, we're going to go to gallery in just about one moment. So if you got something to show, throw it in the chat. Dane or Brenda will introduce you. And if you see image on the screen, you're on deck. But first,
Eddie, I have something quick I'd like to add in before you get to gallery.
go ahead.
Recommendation, when you're holding the thing, that when you're using the hold down like you did on the bandsaw, your hold down piece of wood should be level or a little bit pointed down to it. So you should add a spacer on the back side of it instead of just pushing against the side.
Yeah, I'm actually on mine, Trace, I'm pushing against the side closest to me. It's at like a 30-degree angle
But
pushing on
you should add a spacer up underneath the back side of it so the board is actually level or pushing point down in the center. It'll give you better hold down. On a milling machine, when you hold stuff down on a milling machine, you don't push down on the edges. You pick the back side up so it holds that down flat.
Yep. I see what you're saying.
And you'll get a better pressure on it when you're doing that.
Safety tip.
Yeah, Safety Sue's not with us tonight. She said she may not have made it. She didn't make it. So Trace just filled in for her. How's that? All right.
Good job.
Now, to continue on, I'm going to go back to original topic here. Earlier tonight, this evening, or whatever, we spoke about the stickers. We are ready to purchase the stickers. How do you get your package of stickers for $5? That information is going to be on our Facebook page. It'll be on our website, and it'll be available by email if you choose to. That will be ready by Friday morning. All those details on how you can order them, how you can pay for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We get all that worked out. It's a done deal. Thanks to all the members who helped us put this package together. That's why we did it, because the members helped us put it together. And Brenda said she likes to come here when people share ideas. Do you know, that's why this whole thing started a long time ago, because we all want to sit on the tailgate and tell stories. And Jim Duxbury brought out his jigs and rigs and stuff, and Matt and the other folks have shown how to use them. We've seen demonstrations involving expensive equipment, free equipment you can make it, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why we're here sharing, and we rely on you every single meeting to be part of what we do. No hierarchy. Everybody you see on that screen is of equal value to this club. Well, except you, you're special. So we want to get you into the program here. We're going to go back to showing some gallery tonight, and we got about 15 minutes before I pull my plug, but we'll keep talking. We're still here, but you got to have an ending point somehow. But let's see what we have going up to gallery. Who's up?
Got this guy right here.
I have any idea why my camera is doing what it's doing?
That's a sparkling personality you have.
Oh my gosh, Eddie. Man, shucks. Well, anyway, I showed eggs that I did for my wife last week. These are eggs I did. We've got a deal with our club. These are plain Jane eggs, and we give them to the Driscoll Children's Hospital, and they paint them. And we've been doing, last year we gave about 100 of them. We were just giving eggs, and they said, well, we'd rather have something the kids could do. And so we make these eggs and we send them in, we paint them. I wonder if I can share screen here and this not be so bad. Where is it at?
There we go.
Let's see.
Oh my.
To see this one.
Oh my goodness.
What do y'all see? I don't see.
We're seeing a collage of your eggs.
You got your multicolored egg that you showed last week.
Yeah, I'm trying to just show this one
others
picture,
eggs.
and it's not coming up.
You don't have that picture selected. You have the page that picture's on selected.
So we're just seeing the file folder,
sees that.
file folder
Okay.
with the snippets of the.
Y'all see it now?
Yeah.
No.
No, can't go beyond what you're seeing, what you saw when you took the picture of it over the screen. You can't isolate that. At least don't believe you can. But that's okay. We're back to looking at you, and it's
Oh
fine.
my gosh. Well, I did a drawing of that little jig that I showed last week, and it's not up here. And this camera is acting up, but I meant to get it sent to you today, Eddie.
All right, great.
But
Yep, that's what we talked about last week.
This
A
is the
jig,
drawing.
an egg holding jig.
Yeah.
And that will soon be on our website. We have other jigs and patterns on there. If you send that on to Dave Rhodes, our master webmaster, he'll include it. And folks, you can download it. It's free. Well, you get it with your membership, so that's all right.
Let me try one more time. Although it's flickering, this ain't no good. I got to find out why I'm doing this.
Let me come back to you, Waukeene.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Chris Bailey's got a
I'm
suggestion.
gonna go off
for you.
and come back on.
Yep. Okay.
There's a suggestion, Waukeene, that maybe your cable's next to a power cord or something.
Okay.
All right. We'll come back to you. All right, Stephen, you're up.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Steve.
I was fortunate enough to take a lesson with a master turner this week, and I turned my first sphere.
Oh, nice.
That is cool.
That's
A piece of cherry. I'm pretty sure it's cherry. It was firewood, so but it's got some nice grain in here. Nice figure.
It looks like a planet. What is that planet?
Doesn't it? It looks like
Uranus. Oops.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, don't get too personal there, Eddie.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
Well, I was thrilled to be able to turn a sphere. I as a beginner,
Yeah.
this is pretty neat for me. So that's all I have.
Yes,
Sure.
definitely a
Beautiful
piece you can be proud of.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Let's go to Glenn. You're up next.
How y'all doing today?
Doing good.
As Waukeene was saying, our club challenge this month was turning Easter eggs, and I had turned a number of them just plain. So these are some just glued up pieces of poplar, and just different sizes, different lines. That way the kids can paint them. And we've been doing that for a few years now, and just doing some different sizes. And these are almost like a goose egg. These are some oak. This is oak from a tree in my front yard. And then I had also turned this egg.
Oh my.
And I had glued a bunch of I got some like one by one pieces about 5-6 inches long. There's some walnut, mesquite, maple, some pine, different ones together. I glued them together and just made an egg. I have another one that I'm working on too, that it's going to be a solid egg. This is about 4-inch diameter, of 5.5 inches long. But this one I had turned it, but it's a
oh yeah,
it's a lidded
An egg box.
Nice.
So
look how thin you can see through that wall even.
Yeah, it gets real.
Yeah.
That's some of the that's the pine.
Yep.
It can shows through there. But I had seen this similar to this on Pinterest, and I've been always wanting to do it, so I just started gluing. You have to glue all these together, different ones, then you have to join them and then glue them together again, and
very nice.
That was fun. So that's all I have.
Good job.
Very
Good.
nice.
All right. Go back to
Don't get
Waukeene.
rid of those eggs, folks, because next week we have a special gallery challenge on eggs for Easter. That's next week. We have a challenge. Somebody asked earlier about what we'll have for other challenges. And I'm going to pop it up right now and show you what's coming up. We already missed the March 15th one. That happened last week with the gnomes. The April 5th, that's next week, is Easter eggs. June 28th, we're taking back the country with a cannon display. August, the beads of courage. We always support that. Freedom pens continue, and that's going to be for Labor Day. And ornaments and jewelry. And we hadn't picked the target date for that one yet, but I think we're going to target early December. So the things we make, we can pass on to people to make them happy for the holidays. So that's what our gallery challenges. There are no prizes. It's only the sweetness in your heart that you feel when you get done. We like to see how creative you are, what you come up with, how you hold it. And remember, the secret of all these things, what is it? How big is it? How's it finished? And above all else, how did you hold it? And that's where we get these great these ideas from. Tonight, we saw where Scott used the Jim Duxbury offset jig. I can't remember the name of it. But he gave us a couple options. And just looking at it, the way he made his mandrel is, you know, he just opened a new door to that rig because you had a 1-inch spigot coming out, but nothing ever said you had to stay with a 1-inch spigot. Nothing said you couldn't get bigger. Nothing said you couldn't get smaller. Remember, you're a wood turner. You can change your shape anytime, any way. So if you'll make 3/8-inch earrings and put them on there. All right, now you get me. Now you get me. You see, you get that right here. You get that right here. So that's not me. It's you too. We all do that. So, and that's what that's the beauty of this whole project is. We're all here to sit on the tailgate and tell stories.
Hey, Eddie,
Yes, ma'am.
are you done? No.
I thought so.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask, what was everybody's opinion of the way I was doing the gallery with bringing up the next person?
I think that's that bring them up on, put them on a diamond, you know, get them in spot, get them up on hot, whatever they call it, get them in it, and they will see that they're next.
Exactly.
So
That's what
that
my idea was. Yeah.
They're not out left field saying,
smoother.
Is
I
it
agree.
gonna
I
be
think
me?
that's a good
Is it gonna be
idea.
me? I think it's a good idea, man. All right, everybody. We got to increase Brenda's pay. That's all there is to
Yay,
it.
I got to pay raise.
Can you unmute
No
him
longer
too?
pay.
What'd you say, Jimmy? You want me to mute her?
Can you unmute him too? Because
Oh.
everybody looks at.
You can't unmute people remotely, unfortunately. They have to
We can
unmute
ask you to
themselves.
unmute, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
Hey,
gallery
Ryan.
master's probably going to keep doing it the way he does it.
Okay.
Ooh. Brenda, are you sure, Brenda? That might sounds like that position might not be appointed. It might be, you know. Yeah.
It's all right. Dane can
What
keep
y'all
doing
do
it his
when I'm
way.
not here, I don't care.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's fair.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Waukeene, it's reset his computer. Would y'all like to see if we can see that piece again?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Waukeene, talk to us.
Where'd he go?
Okay, here I am. You got me, Dane? Or
Yeah.
Hey, looky there.
I had a picture.
How'd you
You're not-
fix it,
you're not
Joaquin? How'd
shimmering.
you fix it?
All right, let's see if we can do this share screen.
How'd you fix the camera problem, Joaquin?
I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
All right, cool.
Major on and off switch.
Works,
It works a
yeah.
lot of the time.
Okay, there's the drawing. And you can see that this down here, do y'all see? No, how come it won't? get-
Yeah. I
Oh,
see
we
it.
see it
Oh,
really
big
well.
thing?
Up there.
Is
Don't
it-
worry about what you're seeing. We're seeing it really
Up
well.
there. We see
Okay,
it.
all right. And you'll see these are designed for a egg that's 11/16 to 1/13/16, 2 1/4, about 2.5 inches long. And that's because you can see that we give these to Children's Hospital and they have a diameter limit for us to give them to prevent from a kid swallowing it. And it's also close to the actual size of an egg. And it just happens to work for this jig. You can see the hole in the cap here. It helps center the small point as you put the egg in there. Now you can press too hard when you're sanding it. There's your egg, and you're parting the large end off. because the small end's going to fit in the jig. That's your jig. And you can't press too hard, and even with the clamp on there, it'll pop out. You don't get too wild and crazy. That's your center hole for centering the egg. There it is. It's parted off, got the tip on it. And another look at it. Yeah. All right. You run it and sand it about 600-700 RPMs. And that's what you got on the end results here. In 2 minutes, you're done. You're not sitting there messing around with hand sanding it. Let's see if I can get this other one in. Where's it at? These are. Now here's some pictures I took of making and drilling. Come on, baby, get up there. Y'all got a big picture of me drilling it?
Now we do.
Okay. And this is just, cutting a V and a block and a little clamp on it. And you got it set there. And that's the dimension I got from the end to drill, 1 3/4 inches. Now I made the error of drilling all the way through to the other side. But when I went to the other side, this bad point bit walked off. So when I rotated it, it wasn't dead center anymore. And so I drill them one at a time as I go now. Now I didn't get to straighten these pictures up here, so I'll move on till we get. I drilled one hole, rotating it on 45 degrees. You cut a groove in there for your water hose clamp, about a 16-inch deep or so, 9/16 wide. And you want to do that before you split it on the bandsaw. I'll show you why I know that a little later here. Right here, I've got another jig. Same way, it's got a 45-degree cut here. To clamp it in, I got my guide here, and I got a piece of board over there to hold it in place where it doesn't jack around, move around, to cut the slots into the hole. Just another view of cutting the slot. These are all jumbled up. Oh, 3 1/4 inches long. Whack it off on your chop saw. Works real good. There's another one of cutting the groove in. Like I say, you want to do that before you cut the slots in there. You can, but another drilling. Let's see. Drilling the cap, it's got all that lettering on there. I used a negative rake scraper here, box scraper, to take the lettering off. Drilled it with a 1/2 inch bit. Then tapered it on the edge so it fit in there better. You also have to tape. I haven't found a cap that'll fit in there exactly. Home Depot caps are larger than standard, but my plumbing supplier and Lowe's, I only had to take, like a 30-second off total. So that'd be, half a 30-second, 64th off each side to get to slide in and out there. And one of the reasons for that, if you did a smaller egg, a smaller diameter and shorter, you can push this cap in and out for an adjustment for the egg to center on. And where's that piece at? Oh. You can't get in a hurry. And try to take too much off when you have already cut the slots in. Huh?
That's for a special egg.
I ought to have some kind of design of that. But I did do it later with the clamp on there when I cut the slots in there and didn't intend to. You can put the groove in there after you drill the holes or before you drill the holes. And I just thought that was really funny when that happened.
Need to mount that on a wooden base, Waukeene. You got an art piece.
Yeah. Hey, a little while ago, I saw the chicken that laid that egg.
I took it, I put, I used my small parting tool, put a little edge here, a little edge there, and I said, that Badan's gonna take it off. Yeah, right. Too big a bite. And I ended up using that negative rake scraper to take it off though. And so anyway, I'll send this stuff in, Eddie, when I get it all together.
Thank you, Waukeene.
On the
Nice
website.
job, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Sometimes you have to have an ending point. That was a great ending point for me. Really great. I mean, this has been a pretty good meeting this evening, folks. This is going to continue on. Don't run away. Don't run away. But I'm better than that. Invite a friend. And we asked you what club do you belong to? Put it in our chat if you belong to a club. And it took a long time before the first member of Worldwide Woodturners listed their name on that list tonight. And good to see them listed up there. But because everybody listed all the other clubs except us. So we'd like to know what club you belong to, just so we know who our friends are and how we got to direct our programming, etc. And we will be back here again next Wednesday evening, same time, same place. And we have a good time sharing information. This makes my week. I hope it makes your week. I walk away every single week with a page of notes, ideas and little tidbits that I pick up watching you, our wood turners, turn wood in their shops. And we don't pay for it. It's not that you didn't pay an entry fee, at least I hope you didn't. But none of that. It's just here is friend to friend, wood turner to wood turner, sitting on a tailgate telling stories. Until next week, I want you all to please be safe and take care. I'm Captain Eddie. For me, it's good night. For you, keep talking.
Hey, Ed,
Good week, Kevin.
don't forget to save the chat.
Oh, save the chat. See, Donald, I'm always relying on Donald to fill that in. Donald said, save the chat.
Good night, all.
I was about to, but somebody's quicker than me.
You see?
Tell him, Donald. Tell him, Donald.
For Donald, it's got to come uphill before he talks.
Everybody's stealing your thunder.
Yep.
Yeah, she's got no
I'm sorry.
band-aids on, she's quicker.
Right.
Speak up, Don.
Paul.
Hey, before everybody leaves, the last picture in the gallery is a fork kind of piece with a spiral handle on it. What is that? I cannot figure out what that thing does.
On the newsletter.
Was it in the gallery tonight or was it somewhere else?
No, on the
Newsletter.
gallery on the website.
Okay.
Damn if I can figure out what that is.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
There's two